it comes to my money, and when it comes to the money, don't play. When it comes to me money, when it comes to me money, I said, nigga, don't play.
We got a very special guest this week. We got PEEDIGREEN. Know what I mean? Fire. I definitely appreciate you coming for this week's guest, man. Of course, usually we do talk about world hip hop news, but we're gonna scratch that this week because we got a lot to talk about. This guy has done a lot in the music industry. So, when did you start battling other people? Because I know you said
the battle thing,
by Pop Point and stuff.
Yeah, that really. When I started learning how to freestyle and stuff, by the time I get to like middle school, like 8th grade, and going into my high school years,
which is crazy to think that you were doing all that at that age.
Yeah, I started running into like other cats that was trying to be artists, and especially like being in Miami and whatnot, because I was back and forth between Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and New York at the time, so I'm fluctuating between 3 different cities. Summertime, I spent a lot of my summers in New York. Christmas holidays, stuff like that, because of family and whatnot. And then, as far as Fort Lauderdale goes, in Broward County, Deerfield Beach, Pompano, where Kodak Black is from, all those areas, you know what I'm saying, I would do those because my aunt lived up there and everything, so we would go and hang out at my aunt's house. My mom might go there, we might stay a whole weekend or whatever. Then we ended up moving to Broward for a while. We lived in Broward for a spell. So, between
you've seen a lot, as far as different states, different cultures, different.
Yeah, I've been around a lot, and then plus going to Jamaica during the summer too. That was another thing. Because my father, so my father people went out, my grandmother and all that was Jamaican, which it is. So, doing all that traveling and stuff, I got exposed to a lot and stuff, and I would always, for some reason, end up around artists. I end up around artists or producers or people that did music. It never failed. When I was in New York, I run into different people. You know what I'm saying? I ran into special ed one time and whatnot, and that was like a highlight for me. I'm like, wow, I was totally wild out and whatnot. Got a chance to go with one of my cousins to a studio session because he was into trying to do his thing in hip hop, and we took a couple studio sessions with him and whatnot too. So, the doors like always like open for me in that area. That's when I kind of felt like, this is really for me because it's like I can't escape it. Like to the point, I wanted to be a basketball player. I actually really wanted to play ball. I didn't really want to be a rapper. I wanted to be a baller. And hoops was my thing and whatnot. And
the music just kept
it totally like it rubbed out basketball. I was, man, by the time I got to high school and I had the opportunity to play college ball and whatnot, but I ended up saying, man, I want to do this music shit. And I went head in with it. Started being around engineers. I started learning the engineering aspect, the production aspect, So, it's been a journey, you know what I'm saying? And I started with it, very young, and I had the opportunity to experience a lot young, you know what I'm saying? I got a chance to see all the different sides. But,
so when you started performing and all that, when did the signing come in? Because I know you said you got signed at 13.
Well, okay, so I had a couple record label opportunities between 12 and 13 and whatnot. And one of those situations, and it's crazy, it's a crazy situation because by the time I turned 13, I've been 6 foot tall since 13.
So nobody even I
only grew 2 extra inches and stuff between high school and stuff and college. So, it's funny because I'm like 13 years old. I got a head full of dreadlocks. I got one of my pictures on my page, like my dreads, but a head full of dreadlocks. And I was 15 on that picture.
Okay.
And so I look a little bit older than what I actually was. We Caribbeans is cursed with that shit. So I had facial hair and whatnot. I started growing a little beard and goatee and stuff. So I let it grow out and whatnot. And it's funny because when I was in middle school, the coaches make us shave. Shave that shit off. You know what I'm saying? But I started growing my hair out, and by this time I started getting a little hot in the pants. I'm looking at the girls and stuff, older girls and whatnot. And I started hanging around 2 of my older cousins who was like street dudes and stuff. So I'm going to the club spots, I'm going to the hangout spots where they park with the Chevys and stuff, and everybody out with the systems and everything, and all these bad chicks like Hollow Beach in Miami, spots like that. So I'm going to all this type of stuff, man, at a young age. So, for me, I goes to this club one night with my man Louis, my cousin Rod. He's older than me and stuff. But they had a plug where we can get fake ID, fake college ID and stuff. So I got some fake ID and whatnot. We slide up in Luke's spot. Luke had a spot called Luke's Miami Beach and everything. And we go up in Luke's club. This shit was funny as hell too. I walk up in there, and one of the bouncers knows my aunt.
Oh, shit.
And he looked at me. So he's like, I know he's trying to figure me out, so I just spin the club. To the crowd. So we in the party, we dancing and everything. We just having fun. We do our little routine dancing and all that stuff. So we having fun and shit. And I can't drink and everything, which I didn't drink anyway at that time, you know. So just for fun, just love the music, you know what I'm saying? It was just really the vibe thing for me and the girls. So we mess around, and dude came over, he pulled me to the side. I said, hey, I'm out of 2 minutes. He looked at me and said, yo, you only seen that Carolyn? And I said, yeah. He said, ooh, you Harold's son. Man, what the blood clot you doing here? He cussed me out and everything. He was like, yo, you're not supposed to be, you're too young. So they kicked me out and everything. They kicked me and my cousin out. And then the dude that was with us, he had no choice but going. He's the only adult. So he come with us and stuff. We walk outside. We like, damn, man, we messed up. So we leaving. Uncle Luke was sitting outside the club, just chilling, talking to some cats and whatnot. So I said, yo, there go Luke, man. And I'm wild out, like, wow, there go Luke, Uncle Luke, which we already knew who Uncle Luke was, because Uncle Luke, go back, he used to DJ in African Square Park and stuff. So I was little, like baby little. You know what I'm saying? I remember those jams, those park jams and stuff. You know what I mean? So Luke was popular in Miami. Everybody knew who Luke was. You know what I mean? And so I ended up, you know what I'm saying, I was scared to even say anything to man. I'm like, man, we just got kicked out of this club. I ain't saying nothing to that dude. So my cousin said, man, I'm going to go in and talk to him, because he got to hear that song that you got. So
that's nice, man. That's good.
So we go over there and stuff, man. He was like, yo, Uncle Luke, man, my cousin got a war song. You got to hear this song. It's dedicated to y'all. This name, you tell him about it. So Luke said, looked up at me. He said, you just got kicked out of my club. Yes, sir. So he was like, he looked at me. He said, man, you can't be coming to my club, man. You know, he said, I got the teenage club. He had a teenage club called Pat Jam there. So he was like, man, Pat Jam is for y'all, man, not this spot. So he ended up, he said, what you got? So my cousin said, hold on, let me run to the car. He ran to the car and he got, like, you know what I'm saying, I think it was a tape or a CD or something he had. I think it was a tape. And he grabbed it and whatnot, come back. And Luke had a BMW, drop top BMW, black and everything. So we walk over to his BMW. Luke sat in the car, popped it in and stuff, and listened to my demo, listened to my whole joint. He said, this you? And I'm like, yeah. He said, you got a strong voice. How old are you? I'm like, 13. He said, you 13 trying to get in my club? You know what I'm saying? So he aired me out about that. So what he told me, he said, look, this one would do. I like what you did. He said, man, he gave me a car, and he said, I'm going to send you over to the office. I need you to be there Monday morning. Can you be there like 9, 10 o'clock? And I was like, yeah. He said, I'm going to set up a meeting with you and Professor Grill.
Yeah,
so he told me to call that number and, you know what I'm saying, and lock it in and whatnot. So I'm hyped. I said, well, Professor Grill, that's, you know, dude from Public Enemy. Got these marching around doing the soldier stuff. And we basically be doing a lot of talk about, you know, a lot of stuff that people deem as conspiracy theories and stuff like that. He talks about a lot of knowledge and everything and things that affect black people, black and brown people. So I was like, man, dumb hype though. So I'm like, wow. So then we
and
go.
how long were you doing music like that? Like, how long were you been doing music? Like a year, 2?
Like I had only been doing hip hop probably like about 2 years when I just fell in my lap. And so I ended up, you know, going over to the office and we met with Griff. I took my cousins with me and I had 2 dancers who used to dance when we do shows and stuff. So we go and we go at Loop Records. Oh man, it was the most beautiful day ever. That was my first time walking in a major record label establishment. You know what I'm saying? Which to us, he was independent, but it was considered, we considered that as the major, because that was the biggest, you know, rap record label down there at the time. We had other labels, but that was the biggest.
Wow.
Loop was the joint. And man, I walked up in there, man, and I never forget when you walk in, there was this little cubicle desk or whatever, and it had like the Loop record, Luke Skywalker Records emblem on the front of it and everything. There was a big door and they had like little snack machines in there and there little lobby chairs and stuff. So we go in there and we let the secretary know that, you know, while we was there. And so Griff come walking out. And he walk over, he asked if we want anything, drink, whatever, blah, blah. And then he was like, you know, he wanted to know who the rapper was. Everybody pointing at me, you know. And I had my manager at the time with me too. So we all go in this little meeting room. They got this long ass table and shit. So everybody around the table, and he got the little stereo shit in there to listen to your shit. And he listened to the music. And this is something I tell artists all the time. If you ever get a sit down with a record label, if that A&R artist, I mean an A&R, you know, say artist repertoire basis is what an A&R is. If that A&R doesn't move to your music, you ain't gonna leave there with a deal. If his head doesn't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
if he don't,
he's turning up at you
or something, you basically your shit suck. And some A&R reps will actually tell you. I end up later on working as an A&R rep, but will actually tell you straight up, hey man, that shit is weak. You know what I'm saying? It's got me. I hurt your feelings.
Yeah.
You go to some of these labels, man, they're fucking shit on you and stuff. So, and that's just a part of the game and whatnot. Some people take it personal and feel like, oh yeah, you know what I mean? No. It's just that they ain't got time to waste. When you go in, you got to give them your best shit. Your first impression is your last in some cases. So he heard this record I had called Fight for Your Rights. And it had a real strong, like, kind of like pro-black revolutionary type message to it and whatnot. And I had a couple songs like that. And then I have a little street stuff too. Man, this man was sitting there listening. The record comes on. And he went to nine and whatnot, and it kind of had a Public Enemy type feel to it too. I had a lot of little samples and stuff. I did the beat, you know what I'm saying? Well, me and Ricky did the beat together, and that man stood up and he went to doing the little what we call FOI drills, the drills that the Fruit of Islam, the Nation of Islam guys do.
After he said he liked that, how was it, like, good being on signed to a label? Was it something hard to get used to? Did you have to be on schedule with certain things?
Well, I don't have no regrets, you know what I'm saying? Some of the regrets I have is that I had one big problem throughout my career, throughout my life as a teenager. I had one foot in the street and I had one foot in the booth. And I tell a lot of street dudes nowadays that if you try to be an artist, you got to get to a point where you got to turn the streets loose, man. Because the two is not going to complement each other. As far as the soundscape, yes. But as far as like really living it, people like, yeah, I really do this. I rap what I live. You're stupid. I listen to a lot of rappers say that. I was just listening to Lil Durk and stuff. I ride and stuff. I listen to Mozzie and stuff. And, you know, cats be saying they rap what they live and stuff. I'm like, man, to some degree, some of these dudes be lying.
Yeah, nah.
You know what I'm saying? But to some degree, some of these dudes that haven't made it are. Because they still stuck in that and stuff. Like my man, this dude named Mike Smith, he's from Miami. He's an artist from Miami. Signed to Slip and Slide Records, same label they put out Trick Daddy and the Dream.
Oh wow.
And he got a song called Until Then. And he be like, but until then, I'm gonna be thugging behind the project building, plotting on the way that I can make $1 million. You know what I'm saying? But throughout the whole rap, he's talking about how he wanna, you know, things, his dreams and ambitions as a rapper.
Kind of stuff,
and, you know, he kind of like names rapping different rappers and stuff. It's a dope record. But I love that fucking record too.
Yeah, the hook's already done.
He like, you know what I'm saying? It's like he said, you know, some of these people, they stuck in a certain position, and to them, that's the only way they see. That's the only money they see. But what I learned about the business is that when you're doing the streets and you're doing the music, wherever your bag is coming from, that's going to be your main important thing. And sometimes that can get in the way and block you. But then the other horrible side of it is that once you get into the music business and you getting out there, you know, and your name is floating and you becoming known as an artist and you getting booked on shows, you shouldn't even be touching the streets at all. And I tell guys this all the time. I said, because, you know, the spotlight is on you now. All eyes is on you. So basically what's going to end up happening, you can't say nobody snitching on you because if you rapping about some dumb shit that you did,
exactly.
And you got detectives, you know, you got what they call hip hop police. They're watching.
Yeah.
So they sit down tallying this stuff because as black men and as brown men, we are always watched by this system. You know what I'm saying? This system always got their eyes on us. They tally everything about us. You know what I mean? So when you're making music and stuff, they're sitting there, they're taking notes. And then they go to investigate and watch stuff. Then you end up in situations like my man, what's his name? YNF Lucci. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you're familiar with what's going on with him right now. You know what I'm saying? They trying to knock his head off with, you know what I'm saying, with the feds and stuff. And then plus the little murder situation he got caught up in. So, you know, And then we seen other rappers go through. We seen Snoop go through that. The police stays bothered with Nip. You know what I mean? And it just goes on and stuff. So the smart thing would be, you know what I'm saying, it's cool to rap about, especially if you're already experienced and been through it and everything, but leave it at that. And go and get your bag off this rap shit.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of money to make out
right
there when
it don't make no sense if you doing, you know, I hear rappers, and it'd be funny to me too, some trap rappers, I be laughing. And if you rap about it from a past tense and things that you've seen, I can respect that, you know what I'm saying? Like, we have rappers like Jeezy and stuff, we know, guys inside, we know Jeezy was doing his things, streetwise, he was getting the bag. We know Gucci factual. You know what I'm saying? I dealt with the people in Gucci circle, so I know factually that he was really, you know, about that life. But, you know, it gets to a point where you have to let that side go, or it's going to swallow you. And that's why I had problems with, you know, my teenage years and stuff, my adolescent years. I stayed in some juvenile shit. I never got caught selling drugs, but I always got caught up for fights and shootout type shit, dumb shit. So somebody would start some shit with me, and I turned up the knot, turned the flame up on the police. And that was always my story. I always end up, you know what I'm saying, turn the flame up on the cat. He went straight to the cops. And then I ended up getting cased up. I got a case, you know what I'm saying? So, and one of those situations, I actually ended up ruining one of my situations, ruining a record deal for me when I was a teenager. I got a deal through this company called GS Entertainment and Hip Rock. And Hip Rock was started by the guys, they had a group called Afro-Rican. They put out this Miami-based hit record. Sometimes you might be riding through LA and hear it come on the record. I mean, on the radio and stuff. And there's a couple different people that used like pieces from that record and stuff in their mixes. They had a song called "Give It All You Got," and they was very known for that. That single was a big single. But they took on the first group to come out of the city that Kodak Black came out of. The first group to come out and actually get a major situation was Get Some Crew, with my man, headed by my man Kenny G and my ex-manager Paul. Those guys, you know what I'm saying, gave me an opportunity to produce on their album along with this cat, Total Chaos, my man Boogie, and whatnot. We all, the three of us, and Leo, I forgot about him, Spiness. We four did all the production on their first album.
Oh, wow.
And there's some on the second project too. They became known for this one hit record, Run Forrest Run. It was off the, I think, the Forrest Gump soundtrack.
Yeah, oh shit.
Yeah. And they had a couple records and stuff. But as a team, they turned around and they started managing me. And they was pushing me for a deal. And I had an opportunity with Priority Records. And I fucked that off because I had a case. I ended up catching the case and going to jail on some dumb shit. And they sent my ass to boot camp.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, to the 90-day boot camp shit. So I had to go do that and everything. And I missed out on a lot of shit. So when I came out, my family had relocated to Jacksonville. So now I'm wearing shit out. I'm like, damn, I'm going to stay out here. Because if I stay out, I'm going back to sell drugs. I'm going to be out in the streets. I got to get it. But I could go with my mom, man, and pretty much just try a different life, you know what I mean? So I made my mind, I said, you know, I'm going to go to Jacksonville. I shot in Jacksonville and got there. Then I started rubbing elbows with people I know that scene musically, the promoters and DJs and stuff. And at first I got to Jacksonville, I hated it. I was like, oh my God, this shit is so country and fucking dry. Because it's like a city that sits in North Florida, and that's it. It's just, Jacksonville is just right there at Central Florida, just before you go to Georgia. And it's a big ass city. It's bigger than Miami. Like land, it's just big. Actually, I think it's like the biggest city in the United States, land wise. It's considered as, but you know, it's not built all up like New York or nothing like that. You know, it still got some rural, like country looking areas and stuff, but it's a big city and a big county and whatnot. And I think it's the only city actually in Florida that's big like that. That's a major city and it's its own county. You know? So I got there, man, you know, and I didn't like it, so I hauled ass to New York. So I go to New York, I finished school in New York.
Okay.
Then I come back and everything, and you know, I started, you know, looking into going to college and stuff like that, going to school. And I drove my feet a little bit, dealing down the streets again, you know what I'm saying, a little, but not major. Because Jacksonville is a whole different ball game when it comes to the streets. It's different from Miami. Miami, we about our money. Jacksonville dudes, they about the war and the killing and the wild shit. There's some wild ass dudes. Like, I ain't go to the state center, they way wilder than we are. They got us beat. We got the popularity for the dumb shit because all that cocaine cowboy shit and all that shit. But those dudes, like as far as gutter, those are the most gutter dudes in Florida. I'm sorry. They got everybody beat. So focus is different. Our focus is money, just strictly about the money. Their focus is about beef and bullshit and broccoli. So it's just, and that's not nothing against Duval 904. Shout out to 904, but that's just that they vibe. You know what I mean? And when I got there, I was smart enough to kind of play a little kid and not put myself in a situation where I end up being bodied, because that's a city where you can go there and you can set up shop and you can make a lot of money on the streets, but the one thing that's gonna get you killed is when you mess around and stick your pipe in one of those girls that they like, or that they ex-baby mom or whatever. That's gonna get you killed. She's going to call your name and say, "Oh, so getting that money. He doing this now. You done it." I'm jealous of shit. So, and it's funny because this is one guy. He was downtown. We was at Riley's one night. It's some funny ass. It's some weird shit. I ain't never expect to run into nobody from out there here. You know what I mean? Maybe LA. I ran into a couple people from Jacksonville, LA, and Oakland and shit like that. I got a homeboy from Jacksonville that live in Oakland. But here, I wouldn't even expect it. I'm out at Riley's one night, right? So this dude, he with my wife's cousin, and he see me. He said, "Yo, I know you. He said, "Wait a minute, you're not from Fresno." I said, "No, I never lived in Fresno a day in my life." I said, "My ex-manager, she used to manage a group out of Fresno." He said, "Nah, I don't know you from Fresno. You from Florida?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "You from?" I said, "Dade." He said, "Yeah, you from Miami." He said, "Nah, but you from the other D." I said, "Oh, Duval?" There you go, Duval County. I knew it. And he just went to talking. He was like, "Yo, he telling all these kids, my history, street history." I'm trying to shush him up, shut up. I'm out here, I'm not trying to have that type of, vibe. I want nobody looking at me like, "Oh, he old big boy." I ain't trying to be step on nobody's toes when it comes out of the street shit. I'm out here just to do what I do and feed my family. You know what I mean? I got a daughter that's born here, you know what I'm saying, and 2 born in Sacramento. So I'm at the same time, I'm just trying to, take care of my family and do my responsibilities. And whoever I connect with, I share the knowledge that, I've learned throughout the years in this business, and hopefully help you come up. Now, I got a hard way. I'm a hard liner when it comes down to it, but some stuff I say come off real tough because I'm a former A&R rep. So the lingo I use a lot of times when I'm trying to drop that knowledge and stuff is hard and straight to the point. Yeah. Because I see a lot of mistakes that the artists make that's going to keep them going through that revolving door and they're going to keep going in the same circle. Especially here on the scene that I've seen so far. 2, maybe 3 years, almost 3 years now I've been here. And it's like, I haven't seen nobody come out that circle. Everybody's still in that revolving circle. The reason I moved to Bakersfield, some people be asking me, I get that question a lot. From Miami, what brought you out here? But really, it was to get closer to LA because I'm going back. I was driving from Oakland and Sacramento coming to LA to work. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. That was crazy. I'm coming to LA doing shows and stuff. My man Sean Childs booked me on a couple shows out there in LA and whatnot. I had a mixtape. The year after I came here, I had a mixtape out, Stop Being Stupid, that was hosted by Thomas Hanson. And on that mixtape had myself, Raekwon from Wu, and a lot of
and what label were you signed to label at that point? Or
I was actually independent. I just got out of my deal. Me and Raekwon was actually label mates on the label. We did high school parties on the same label. Me, him, Purple City Bird Gang, who was affiliated with Dipset and all them. All those on the same label. High Tech from Talib Kweli and High Tech. We was label mates at the time. The Genius from the Wu. All those on the same label. So, that situation went very, I dropped the single. The single took me around the world as I ended up on the BET shit and all that other stuff. But that single took me around the country, on a tour. Oh, wow. I didn't drop the whole project. I only dropped a single and a maxi single.
Already catch you out there.
And I'm on the road with Young Bird, Ray J. We touring together.
Oh wow! How old are you at this time?
This was maybe back in 2010. So this
okay.
So this after I grew in the game and stuff. But it's just one of the experiences. Like when we was talking about that earlier, you mentioned about the BET thing. That's how that came about.
Oh, okay.
Being signed.
After the tour, you kind of.
I was touring we dropped the single, and we went through a process. And I tell artists all the time there's a science and there's a method to this stuff. When you release your records, there's a way that you do it, and there's a lot of do's and don'ts. And sadly, some of the artists on the scene out here, not to shit on nobody, but I see a lot of don'ts. I see a lot of the mistakes that they make, and it's a whole lot of don'ts.
So what would be some of those don'ts in a sense?
All right, don't number one I see out here on the scene locally. Number one is videos. You know, I just recently did this myself, you know what I'm saying? But I just did just to leak some out because everybody been begging me like, man, we want to see a visual. We ain't seen a visual from you, you know. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna give you a visual. But I tell cats like this: focus on breaking the record. Fuck the visuals. Fuck being seen and all that shit. Break the record. You break the record, then it's gonna give you a reason to want to invest in the video. Labels never put a video out first. No record label does it. Def Jam doesn't do that. Interscope doesn't do that. Atlantic Records most certainly don't do it. And Capitol surely don't do that. None of the majors. You know what I'm saying? Universal, none of them. My motto with my company is that I'm independent, but I move like a major. And because I think the way the majors think, and it's probably because, you know, me getting a chance to work for Interscope, me getting a chance to work with other labels and stuff, and go out and do promo and stuff for labels and stuff, and work alongside people that's like up echelon at these labels and stuff, and rub elbows and get knowledge. It changed my perspective on the game. So I'm like, if I want to compete, I gotta compete. If I'm gonna compete with the majors, I gotta do something to compete with them. You know what I mean? So what I see a lot of guys and a lot of artists and female artists and stuff, they go for the scene. I want to be singing shit. And none of them is making money off of that. Like I challenge, like, you know what I'm saying, and I've done this on my social media, and I do it a lot just to get people to see, like, get these artists to see, like, yo, y'all doing a lot of stuff wrong, but there's a way you could really eat, but you're not taking that opportunity and doing what it takes to put yourself in a position to eat. And I challenge kids. I'd be like, show me a royalty check.
Exactly.
I show mine. I post mine online. I'm like, show me a royalty check. And then I'd be like, you know, show me something that you're making off your videos. It's certain artists out here I noticed they got fugazi numbers. I ain't gonna call no names. And, you know, and me and Jimmy talk about it a lot. Sometimes I'd be like, man, shaking my head like, if only this person knew that they didn't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? It's a technique that the labels do. The record labels, they do fugazi numbers too. But there's a method to it, and there's a reasoning. You don't just go out there and shoot a video. Exactly. You just recorded a song. Go shoot a video. Shoot a video. Throw it out there. And then fugazi your numbers and stuff. That's it.
And that's it.
It don't work like that.
I feel like one artist that sticks out to me the most that I feel like that's done that though and actually done a good job is Jordan Lucas, right? Because he dropped that.
Right.
And
Tekashi.
Tekashi. But Jordan Lucas would just drop a song with the video, like not drop it anywhere else, just drop the video, and then it would kind of. But the first one he did though was that one. I'm not a racist,
right?
And that's what kind of got.
But see, that's like the more so trying to go for the viral move. But then you got to think about it. Jordan Lucas had records out before that.
Yeah, that's true.
Most people, y'all don't know that.
I didn't know
he had records out. And the thing is that when you know. Once you start getting your feet wet and you establish, you can do that. Just like back in the day when I was in Florida, when the mixtape game was heavy. Everybody was doing a mixtape. Everybody was dropping a mixtape. And they're still doing it, you know what I'm saying? Or what they call street albums. And I used to tell artists, if you go do a mixtape, do it like Jeezy did it. Don't do it like Wayne did it. Wayne can do that. Wayne can take so-and-so such an instrumental and kill that fucking instrumental. You know what I'm saying? Jeezy even did it. Jeezy can take one of Jay-Z old records and flip on that shit and they'd be like, whoa, he rocked that shit. Game can do that. They're established artists. But when you're a non-established artist, it don't make any sense because it's going to fall on deaf ears. Okay, this local-ass nigga just rapped over Jay-Z shit. So, you know what I'm saying? So I told cats there that didn't make sense though. Same thing when it comes down to the video thing. You know, when you establish artists, you can do stuff like that. You can just keep dropping whatever before you even drop the ring. You're like, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and just throw this out here because your name is already, so your fan base is gonna follow it. But when you don't have that following, you gotta break a record first. And I tell artists all the time, I know this from experience. It only takes one record. For all that, I got my new album. I don't sit here and watch a certain artist. come out with about 2 or 3 albums the whole time I've been out here, full-length projects, and none of the projects did shit. Ain't sold shit, sold copper. And then some of the shit, the mix on the shit is horrible. The production ain't on point because some of you guys is doing some shit that could get the shit suit out of you. I'm going through a lawsuit right now, so that's how I'm I can speak.
Nah, you're good. Nah, it's interesting actually.
Yeah.
People don't
I'm going through a lawsuit right now
they don't
because of this
understand
type
how much there is there to it.
Yeah, it's a lot to it, and it can be simple for you, and you can make it, you know what I'm saying, technical as fuck and everything, and it's not really that technical, but it's not that easy either. It's a balance. Everything is balanced. So the thing is, like, when you put a record out, the main thing, and this is what I advise, and this is what I would do, if I sign somebody from out here, let's say for instance, if I sign Jimmy Golf, the first thing I would do with Jimmy Golf, I would put a budget, you know what I'm saying, into play for everything that I know I'm out to do to work him, to push him. So the main thing is, we're going to knock out a project. Let's say if I produced the project, say for instance, I did the majority of the project, and I might got some other producers or whatever in on it. We're going to knock this project out. Once we knock this project out, we're going to sit down and we're going to plot and figure out which single is the record we're going to go with. Whichever record we decide that we're going to go with, and we're going to get a team to sit down and listen to it, then that's going to be the main record we push. We're not going to put an album out. We're going to drop a single. And when we drop that single, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go to all the DJ networks, core DJs, you know what I'm saying, slip slide DJs, this DJ, you know what I'm saying, movement. And then I'm going to go to the blast sites, DigiWax, what's Cash's company? Oh God, how could I forget his company? Aviator, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to go to Green Hits, MP3 Wax, and I'm going to pay the money that it takes to blast his record through those companies.
When did the first label end? When did when you first signed me?
The situation with Luke, it never materialized into me putting a project out through Luke. What I did a lot of shows, a lot of events, and I toured with some of their artists. Artists like Plz Comment, my man JT Money, you know, salute to JT Money, the legendary. The first quote-unquote gangster rapper from our scene and whatnot that got out there nationwide, and his group Plz Comment, which consisted of my man Deputy and Drugsy. And they broke off and they started another group because they brothers and stuff. They started a group called Home Team, which is another, you know what I'm saying, they had a big record called Pick It Up back in the day. I was in the studio when they first dropped that record. I'll never forget. And I was a kid. I'm around this dude named Eric Griffin. He was actually working with me and my partner. But it's just so funny. The Luke thing, it never really materialized into nothing other than me doing shows. A great experience. And I built a relationship with some of the guys that was, you know, affiliated and whatnot. And kept it pushing. And I ended up after that, which was my actual second deal situation, was Foresight. Just before Foresight, I signed with a company, this dude by the name of Rodney D. Murphy. He had, I forgot what the name of his label was, but he signed me and my partner, Jody. No, I'm wrong. That came afterwards. I got it all backwards. Jody first, a.k.a. Pejo. That was my dude.
Is it sketch signing deals, or just like, you know, do you involve lawyers? Like, is it
at that time, man, like,
no one wasn't like that.
At 100, you know what I'm saying? You want to have a lawyer and stuff anytime you sign any deal with anybody. Yeah, I tell anybody, man, go to get you an entertainment attorney, man. Back then, we were so eager to be heard and wanted to be signed and everything that we would get the contract and try to read that shit out there. So I'd take it to somebody in the family and have them look over and stuff that was older than us that could understand certain things and stuff. But, you know, my first situation, I didn't even go to an entertainment attorney. I went to a family member that was a little versed and stuff. And I signed. He said, just take a chance. I mean, they're not locking you down to my own situation, so take a chance. And you can always get out of the contract from where it's set up and stuff. So
that's a nice contract, and they didn't try to.
They wanted to sign me as a solo artist, but I was scared to be a solo artist. So I went to before that. Actually, the Worldwide Assassination. That was the first time I had been in a group before that, And then that was the IMCs, and then we did the worldwide assassination thing, but that just never materialized. And then we had some like issues within the circle. My cousin Daquan and all that, we all started bumping heads, and then I had a little legal issue, street shit. So that kind of fucked a lot of shit off with that. But when I got with Foresight, Billy Hines, he heard my shit and he liked what I was doing. Him and his son, Adrian, they liked what I was doing, and they gave me a chance. They gave me a shot. And I actually got on with them through this shit that worked for them. She was like, I don't know if she did marketing or something for them, or she was secretary. I don't know what she was, but I know she worked for them. And she lived in an apartment building where I used to live with my cousin and stuff. I had left home and stuff. I was like, man, I'm going on. I'm like 14, 15. I was staying with my cousin and stuff. So I'm out with them, and I actually be sitting on the porch all the time. Like this is high-rise apartment, so I'd be sitting in the stairwell, on the porch, stairwell, right in front of my apartment, and I'd be sitting there writing. You know what I'm saying? Rapping my shit. I had headphones on, I'm rapping and shit. So she always come home from work. She was a bad chick. Oh my God, she was amazing.
Hey,
I was so in love with this lady, yo. Boy, she was like my fantasy chick when I was I'm a teenager at the time. So, but she was bad. And she used to walk up in her little high heels and little skirts and stuff, come up the stairs and stuff. So one day she stopped me and she was like, hey, I like how that sound, man. You sound pretty good. You should, bring your stuff over to the label. I work for Foresight. And I was like, you do? I was like, wow, that was crazy. So she plugged me and she took one of my demos and stuff.
That's crazy. So
then I had another situation with this girl I was working with, doing some production with. She had a meeting with them. So we all went and I presented my stuff. And Billy liked it. So now they tell my sign me to give me a contract. I'm like, oh shit. So I go to Broward. This was crazy, bro. They were based out of Broward too. But I go back home and I go to Broward, you know what I'm saying, a couple days later, and they had this area in Deerfield Beach, which is where Ace Hood is from, and whatnot. And in Deerfield Beach, Ace Hood and Total Chaos, I can't leave him out. You know what I'm saying, I would be totally wrong, but those are two legends for Deerfield. And this other artist named T-Dog, which was a gospel rapper and stuff, who signed a Flow Rider. They all from Deerfield. Well, I go up in this area they got called the Front Street, and it's the main drug spot, it's the drug strip. You know what I'm saying? Before they tore all that shit down, but it no longer exists. But it was a long strip with like clubs and all that type of shit, you know what I'm saying? Main drug strip. A lot of money came through that spot. I go there, my partner, my homeboy, he was actually up there getting his money, you know what I mean? He hustling. So I pull up on him, I'm like, yo, bro, hey man, I got this record deal, bro. And yo, I want to start a group. I want you to be a part of it. He older than me, you know what I'm saying? So I go to him, I said, cause first I would go to this dude named Derek Keith at first. Then just said to him, go to Joey, you know what I'm saying? And Joey always been a genuine dude. I always loved the way he vibed. Not that Derek wasn't, but Joey, we just always had a good relationship, you know what I'm saying? He always treated me like, somebody and stuff. So I said, we'll talk to him. So we talked about it, go meet up with Billy and whatnot. We go record some songs and stuff. And we go down there and they signed both of us. We both signed.
Hey, that's crazy.
So we started a group called 9MM. That was the name of our group. 9MM. Now 9MM we would have been the first to sign LaFace Records because we had an opportunity. We would have been the first, you know what I'm saying, like, not to take nothing away from Plz Clan, you know what I'm saying, or whatnot, but we would have been the first, like, straight core gangsta ass rap group stuff out of South Florida before anybody. Because shit, we was talking about in our records, nobody was talking what we was talking. JT Money, that shit was cool. His Poison's Mentality album, that shit was great. The Too Low Life Motherfuckers was great. Those are classics, you know what I'm saying? Respect to those albums. But and especially to the producer, Mr. Mitch from Too Loud Crew, and Mike Fresh, Craig, who actually was MC Shadi's DJ. And also co-DJ with DJ Toon, who went on to be known as the Godfather of Trap, who did T.I. and Jeezy and some everybody else. A lot of those guys started in Florida.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, but what I was doing production-wise and what we was doing lyrically and the shit we was rapping about, you could compare our music to what was popping off the West Coast or out of Texas. You know what I'm saying? With Ghetto Boys and all that. That was around the time Pimp C, I think Pimp C and Bun B probably came out. That was like 92, 93, something like that. So we like, you know what I'm saying, was ahead of the game as far as with Florida, because the shit we talking about the shit that really go down. And a lot of the guys, I didn't understand it back then, because I used to be like, damn, nigga, Miami's so gangster and shit. Like, niggas ain't rapping this gangster shit like they do on the West Coast, dude. Like, nigga, we really, nigga, we the cocaine capital. We blah, blah, blah. You know, that was like really bugging me out. I used to get mad, because labels would tell me they didn't want to fuck with my music because it was too gangster. Oh, man, that shit too negative, man. Bro, you know, and we got the door closed in our faces, like, especially me, a bunch of times with the independent labels down in Miami, Hot Productions, Joey Boy Records, like all the different record labels that was out there, man. They shit. Oh, we ready to look. All right, we'll sign y'all, but y'all gotta give us a Miami-based record, and that would usually be the deal killer for me. I'll be like, I ain't with that shit. So, Luke was the first one that actually gave me an opportunity without telling me that bullshit. Foresight will be the second one. They never tried to force us. But Billy kept saying, man, we need a single, a dance single and stuff, something to break, because we're known for putting out dance records. So we had this one record we did called Push, and it had like a kind of like a West Coast feel to it, real funky and shit, but it was like mid-tempo, danceable and whatnot, you know. It wasn't no Miami-based shit, but it was like, you know, it was a decent tempo where you can book you off of it. So we did that. Plus, we didn't compromise our street shit, you know what I'm saying, to do a pop record or whatever. So then we had this one record, and I swear, and this is the part where I say it's going to get controversial. I'll say that. On my deceased mom and my ancestors, had we put this record out, it actually got released, but it didn't release in America, from what I'm told. I don't know the whole deal behind it, because I ended up leaving the label. I got frustrated with one of the guys that worked for the label, producing and engineer, and I felt like he was shitting on us and, you know, trying to put a block to keep us from doing our shit, because he was this Christian church guy that didn't want, man, this shit too gangster, y'all shit too hard, why y'all cussing so much, right? All this shit, he always complained about recordings. I got to the point where the question like, man, I want to work with a guy that y'all used to work with, Frank Canese. I really work with him, because he ain't gonna treat us like that, you know what I mean? But this guy, his name was Vince or something like that. He was real problematic. That's the only reason I really left the label. I left because of that, because I felt like we weren't getting that done, and it got frustrating. And I had other people that was whispering in my ear too. So, the only way we could get out of that contract, we had to disband the group.
Oh yeah.
So that's what ended up happening. We disbanded and shit. But my boy, he stayed with him for a while and everything. But we had this one record called "Looking Down the Barrel." That record, that fucking record. If that record had got released in America, shit, that would have been the first trap style record ever came out. The very first. The only thing that came out back then that was close to a trap style record, but we knew it was trap today, would have been DJ Magic Mike's Feel the Bass Again. I got influenced to do that style by DJ Magic Mike, who's based out of Orlando, Florida. Multi-platinum selling DJ producer, you know what I'm saying? He did all the low frequency bass CDs for like the car systems back then. This year, everybody was like buying his shit up like hotcakes and everything. He's cousin to DJ Scratch from EPMD. But my big bro right now, we got a group project we're doing right now. He's a Miami-based legend too, from back in the day. Had hits in the late 80s and early 90s and stuff. He started off with Magic Mike, you know what I'm saying? And Mike was like, when I heard Feel the Bass Again, I said, yo, I can slow the beat down and rap the street shit over this shit. So then I turned around, I was listening to this group called Nemesis out of Houston, Texas. And Nemesis was doing some of the same thing, but they weren't really rapping. It was like more instrumental, bass instrumental type shit, 808 shit. We were bass heavy. But instead, I was like, yo, if I take this, I take that, damn, listen to Scarface at the time. I said, I'm finna turn up on my morning side. So we started writing like straight up gangster records off those type of beats and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And that Looking Down the Barrel would have been the first trap style beat that came out of the South before anybody, before 365, before anybody.
So I gotta ask, like, why didn't it come out in America?
I think the label was scared of that record, and I think they also pretty much, you know, one of the big complaints I heard from the label was that, from Foresight, was that it would cost a lot of money to promote and market us with the style that we was doing. Now they got to compete against New York, you know what I'm saying, and against Cali, and against Texas, you know what I'm saying. And I don't think, you know, maybe it might have been out of their budget. I don't know, you know, what it was, but I heard that complaint. You know what I mean? So that was another thing. But we was churning out some. Me and my man Jody was churning out some fucking hits. We was sitting in this den and had the turntables, and I had an SP1200 during that time and whatnot. The classic drum machine. A lot of hits was made on that thing. But I was banging out beats on that and the MPC60. So we sitting there deep through retro chop samples and shit. You know what I'm saying? Get a keyboard, I play some melodies and stuff, sampling that shit. You know what I mean? And then we use a lot of heavy ass 808, a lot of bass. So like all my music now is very bass. I'm from Florida, that's how we rock. So we consider we the home of the bass. You know what I'm saying? We the home of that 808. We started that shit. So it's like, you know, that it just never, it didn't come out. You know what I mean? And I went through another company and tried to put that same record out, and that's when I got caught up in the street shit. So the Foresight record thing was this. Two very known artists was label mates with me on that label. And one is Usher.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Usher was signed. He was with a group called New Beginning at the time. He was signed during that same era that we was there. Another artist was on Manny Fresh, very known producer from Cash Money. Him and this guy named Gregory D from New Orleans, they were signed. We had two New Orleans artists signed to Florida labels back during that time, and that was Gregory D and Manny Fresh. Well, they was one in a sense, and this dude named Bust Down from New Orleans who signed the Loop and whatnot. So, and those two, well, and Big Mike was the first three artists to break out of Louisiana like that. You know what I'm saying? Because Big Mike was signed to Rap a Lot, but a lot of people like. We go back. I had cats tell me like, man, you and Jody, man, y'all was like Pimp C and R&B. Cause yeah, I'm a dark skinned dude. He light skinned dude. Shit. He talked a lot of little sly ass pimp type shit, and I was more like talking a lot of the gangster shit. You know what I'm saying? So and the two we combined the forces, and you know, man, it was crazy. But after the Foresight situation kind of went crazy, we signed with Rodney Murphy's label, and he had a situation with Tony Mercedes, who basically worked with LaFace and whatnot, and they was trying to work a deal for his R&B group, and then we was the rap group. But when they heard us at LaFace wanted us. So this before Outkast, just before Outkast got signed, we almost was that group before Outkast. Like real shit. I ain't making this up. It's all real. I got people that can testify to this. This interview come out on any platform. I got people that will test this shit and know. But we would have been what Bun B and Pimp C became possibly, or at least in the run with them and everything, or with Outkast and stuff. The talent was there and everything, you know what I'm saying? The sound was there and everything. But it's just that, you know, when we dealt with that next label was that I think with him, he wanted so bad for his brother to get signed and stuff that it blinded him to the fact that, dude, you got these dudes want your rap group. Exactly. Fuck your R&B group, like straight up. But some people be so caught up in situations because that's their family and they believe in them and stuff, and that's their dream. And he wasn't really a rap dude, you know what I'm saying? He was an R&B.
So he didn't really
take
it that serious,
right?
Seeing the potential.
Yeah, he just was trying to capitalize off rap and everything. But when it became a reality, he got cold feet. You know what I mean? Then his family, church people, so he thinking about he was pressured by that shit. So I ended up leaving that shit. And sadly, me and Jody ended up drifting apart, you know what I'm saying, as far as our artistry. Jody will always be a brother like family to me forever, even to this day. He came out here to visit me not too long ago.
Oh, shout out to Jody.
Yeah, so it's like, then I started venturing on the solo tip. And I got my situation with Hip Rock and GS Entertainment via Priority Records and whatnot. And, you know, like I say, throughout my teenage, we put a record out. I got one record on YouTube. I didn't sing you that, too, that I recorded. I was about 15, maybe 16 at the time. And then we did this record called One Deadly Ass Nigga. That shit was just straight West Coast. That shit hard as fuck. I'm gonna let you hear it too.
Just by the day, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, shoot.
We did that record, and I had another record called Make It Funky. It was kind of like a little East Coast New York type shit. And that's another company. They let me be me. They didn't force me to do a Miami-based record. I produced bass records for them too, and everything. And I featured on one of the records. My man Boogie produced. It was called It's On, and you know, it was like some up-tempo Miami bass shit, but it was more everybody raps some gangster shit over it. So I jumped on that shit. I was like, they challenged me like, I bet you can't do it. And I got on that rip, man, and whatnot. So it's like, you know, I had that experience. So then after that, I ended up moving to Jacksonville, and I was back and forth between Jacksonville and New York. Finished school and stuff, and then I go do my little time in college, and then I end up, you know what I'm saying, going Full Sail in Orlando. You know what I'm saying? While I was in Jacksonville, I had a couple situations that happened, I had a couple deals, situation that popped. I had a situation with Sony Records. That didn't materialize, sadly. You know what I'm saying? And I got that deal based on some, it was crazy how that even happened, because I did this record. I used the Stevie Wonder record. I can't remember the name of the song. Most people call the song Always, but that's not the name of the record. But I got this dude that was an R&B legend named Lorenzo, who signed the Loop. He did records with Keith Sweat and Johnny Gill and stuff. And Lorenzo was a good friend of mine and whatnot. I got him to sing that part. And he came in and blew that shit. So we sent that record to my brother up in New York, and they went and presented to dude up in Sony. And dude, that's his favorite record. So then he told me he wanted me to do this other record. He wanted me to take and chop up this Donna Ross, I Don't Need No Cure. And he wanted me to flip that shit, right? Man, I flipped that fucking beat, and they flew me to New York quick. You know what I'm saying? I'm back in New York again. So I had that situation. Now, another situation in between time, I forgot to even throw that in. We had, prior to this whole situation I was just talking about with my brother and with New York situation with Sony, just before that, I forgot about this. Just before I did the project for Kids on Crew and through Hip Rock and Priority and whatnot, before that, I linked up with a person. I call him my cousin. We ain't really related, but, you know, so he's Jamaican, I'm Jamaican, and, you know, we connected on some music shit and whatnot. And matter of fact, kind of was the street shit, because I went through it with Beasley dudes that took my drum machine and stuff. And, you know, he went with me and got my shit back.
Yeah, he
shit, got my shit. We had to do the G-Way, but we got my shit. But I started doing beats for him. Somebody turned them on to me. So I started doing beats for him. And we decided to do a project. We started a group called Power, Prisoners of White America. That was another Public Enemy type joint, some big press type shit. But we did that project, and that project was crazy. I'm talking about we was the first rap group in Florida, in South Florida history. We was the first rap group. We made newspaper and all type of shit to actually perform on a big reggae event. A big reggae like bash and whatnot. They used to throw it at CB Smith Park in Hollywood, Florida. And this is before they started doing the best of best in Miami and stuff. It's pre that. We're on the show with reggae legends like Shabba Range, Maxi Priest, Jigs King and Bogle, man, he rest in peace. Bogle, rest in peace. Garnet Silk, man, he rest in peace. My first time seeing Garnet Silk in concert was on that show and whatnot. Man, so many Shaka Demons and Plz and all these different, like, you know what I'm saying, reggae, big reggae legends and stuff. But we was the only rap group. So we came out, it was the first rap group, and we rocked that bitch. I mean, and I was at odds with the dude at the time. We were bumping heads, you know what I'm saying? But we went out there, put that shit aside, and we smashed that show.
That's always good we could do that, though.
And he went on. We ended up falling out. We had a major fallout, and I went on to do the Kids on Crew project and stuff. And then after that, when I moved to Jacksonville, he reached out to one of my friends, a badass DJ by the name Jazz Nice, Steve Gasson, shout out Steve, and everything, which is actually my cousin. But so Steve, Steve was a badass DJ. That dude, his hands was fucking like crazy on the wheels, like sick with it. So he reached out to Steve, you know what I'm saying? And Steve didn't tell me that he done took their equipment and shit and all that's New York and shit. He ain't even tell me this shit. You know what I'm saying? It took him and my cousin Ian and shit, man. That shit crazy. But so he told me what dude was looking for me, da da da. So dude, we talked. He's saying for me, I go to New York. So now I'm in New York. Now this is what shit got. This is why I really started plugging in with the industry like majorly. This is what shit really opened up. This was my first door opener. When I got up there, he had went to New York. He took this other dude from Florida with him. Name we called him Ironhead. That was his rap name. Dude was just like Trick Daddy. I'm up there, you know what I'm saying, and all these A&R reps just like clinging to me because they was in shock that here it is. I'm from down south, but I can spit. I can hold my own. Some bar shit. I can bar up against whoever. I ain't, you know, it ain't matter. You put me in the cypher with whoever. They would be like, damn, this dude got bars. And then I didn't really sound like a dude from down south too because I kind of had a, you know, some people say I got a semi-East Coast, you know, accent. Some people give me that. And it's probably because my mom, she grew up in Boston and stuff, so that accent was in the household. But and plus because I'm Caribbean too. But they was digging it, you know what I mean? And I had A&R reps taking me to all types of parties, all types of venues. My first time seeing Tupac was at a venue and stuff, you know what I'm saying? I went, my first time seeing Meeting Big and stuff was through one of those parties and stuff. DJ Premier, I got a chance to go into a session at D&D Studios and whatnot that Premier was doing and whatnot. Got a chance to sit in on a session with Craig Mack. You know, yeah, it was like I used to go over to Lord Finesse, PEEDIGREEN, Lord Tariq, all the Digging the Crates dudes, Showbiz and AGS, go to their little spot up in the Bronx and stuff, you know what I'm saying, on there and then working on beats. I used to go and just sit in and vibe with cats. So I learned a lot of techniques from New York while I was there too. I started like, you know, soaking up game and whatnot.
So how was it when Tupac came out and Biggie came out in the music industry as far as like the sound and
that was amazing. That was it was amazing. Like that era, and I was a teenager, you know, but that era was like crazy because you got when Big came, it was like a whole new face for the New York rapper. You know what I'm saying? It was a different face than what we was used to hearing and stuff. And then you had, you know, Pac was actually originally from New York, but like for me, my favorite albums by Pac is like Strictly for My Niggas. That's my favorite and whatnot. And Me Against the World. I didn't like All Eyes on Me. I hated that album. Like honestly, deep down inside, I never liked that album. I didn't like the production on it. You know what I'm saying? And not taking it away from Daz Corrupt. I mean, Daz who did a lot of production and did people involved in that project, but it just wasn't Pac to me. That just wasn't Pac. It was one of his biggest records, but I couldn't. I don't know. I just couldn't feel it.
I mean, compared to the other album you were talking about,
Me Against the World and that.
And then you go to that.
Me Against the World is classic. And then you had now when we came out with the Machiavelli album, some of the tracks on that shit, I was like, wow. But there's a lot of stuff on that project I didn't like. I didn't like a lot of production on that album. But you know, some people were arguing with me, man, that was clutch, that was just that. I was listening to Nas and Busta Rhymes and all them cats during that era. And as far as the West Coast goes, I was listening to dudes like the Alcoholics and, you know what I'm saying, Raz Kaz and Seinfeld, the Saucy Nomad and Casual and Dale the Funky on Musafian. You know, I was into that side of the West Coast, you know what I mean? By that time. And then I had my gangster cats like Above the Law, DJ Quick, of course, DJ Quick, always. You know what I'm saying? And a couple more, you know what I mean? But that just, you know what I'm saying, I don't know. For me, I just only say 2 albums that Pop did that I was really like my favorites. You know what I mean? And everything else was what it was. But Big, just like, that Ready to Die was like fucking crazy. That album was like, from start to finish, just, I can listen to that album to this day. Like from start to finish. And sit back and blow me one and just catch me, reminisce. You know what I'm saying? My jit years. But in that process while I was in New York, I ended up, you know what I'm saying, getting caught up in the tug of war between labels. And then I had my alleged cousin. He started acting funny with me and stuff because he tried to get me to sign his contract, and the contract was bullshit. By this time, I got a little more wise to the game. The contract was trash. And then what he wanted me to do was some stupid shit. So they had this style in New York called horrorcore. They was trying to create this style, this whole new lane in New York, hip hop, to compete with the West Coast. When the West Coast is gangster, we're gonna be horrorcore. But it was really biting because the first horrorcore artist that was known was two cats, one from the West Coast and one from the Midwest, Esham and Brother Lynch.
Oh, okay, bro. Okay, yeah, I know.
You know what I'm saying? They were the first two horrorcore artists that was known. So, mind you, New York jumped on that grade, and they came with acts like Grave Diggers and Flatliners. Now, the problem with Def Jam with Flatliners just did not cut the mustard. So, they were trying to pitch me to Def Jam and stuff to come and be that new horrorcore type dude. And it was crazy because my cousin wanted me to change my name, my stage name, to Manson. And I was like, Manson? I probably would have blew up off that shit. Like, honestly, that whole shit was genius as fuck. But it had been some gimmickal ass corny shit. He was like, yo, I want you to change your name to Manson. So I had two gold teeth in the front. Like in Miami, we don't wear the pop ends and stuff. We go get permanent gold teeth. Yeah. So I had two in the front already. He wanted to, I'm gonna grill you all out. You know what I'm saying? Just like everybody do in Miami, we go, you know, top and bottom, and we gonna put Manson on your teeth. He said, you're gonna write letters to Charles Manson, you know, like you're a admirer of his, and you're gonna incorporate that into your raps.
That's actually kind of interesting.
It was interesting. It was crazy.
Interesting,
I started actually writing that shit, but that shit started feeling crazy. Because then we had a lot of street drama that was going on there too. We get into shootouts and all types of stupid shit in New York at the time too. There's a lot of shit because my cousin Movement was he was into the music industry, but he was very, you know what I'm saying, very heavy in them streets, man. So what happened is I started getting bad vibes about that whole idea. It started feeling like I was being sucked into some shit. Some stuff is not good for you spiritually. You know what I mean?
If it's not really you, then it's like. So
I was like, I passed on it. I couldn't do it. So then I was like doing production. I got an opportunity to produce for this big reggae artist, Simple Simon, who had a hit record out at that time called Hang Down Your Head, Murderer, and what his classic reggae record. So I produced a remix for that on Profile Records for Profile Records. That was one of my first major industry releases, the very first that I did. And I did that remix. So then now I'm getting booked to go around to this studio, because there's two studios in Brooklyn that most of the reggae artists work out of. Don One Studios, and I cannot think of the name of the studio that Fernan and them own and stuff, KC and them own. I don't remember the name of their studio, but those two studios are the main studios that reggae artists will come from Jamaica and come from record in New York. So I'm getting chances to go to these studios, walk in on my SP12 on the MPC and stuff, plug in and run beats, and they pick beats from me. And they was paying me stupid money. I'm doing dub plates for dudes, and in Jamaica, like doing dub plates, man, they pay you handsome, like retarded. So I'm doing this shit. I'm in a set. I remember I was in a session with Beanie Man. The first time I seen Beanie Man and shit in person, and was in a session. Him, this artist named Major Lee. I cannot think of that girl name from Jamaica, but it was a couple like now bigger name, you know what I'm saying, artists that's from Jamaica and whatnot. And I got a chance to be around that whole movement. So now I'm doing like hip hop crossover dancehall records and shit. So during that time, you had big records like Supercat, you know what I'm saying? He was popping. Shaba was popping. Mad Cobra was popping. You know, different dudes like that. So now I'm rubbing elbows on the international market. I'm getting records with these guys. My cousin started acting funny and stuff, man, because I went and signed that contract and stuff, and then we fell out. We had a big fallout. And it got so bad to the point that I had to leave New York and everything. And, you know, when you get in a situation where a dude got so bad to the point, you about to end up either getting killed or killing somebody, then somebody got to be the bigger man and say, fuck this shit. So I just walked. I left. And me and him didn't run it. He called me, threatened me, oh, if I catch you, da-da-da-da, this and that, don't think you got away, da-da-da. I'm like, whatever, man. We just go to war when we see each other. And a couple of years passed. I get back to Jacksonville. I started working with an artist named Psycho Man. At the time, that was the stage name. Oh, may you rest in peace. That's my bestie too. That was my heart. You know what I'm saying? He got murdered, unfortunately, in the middle while I was working on a project, a big project too.
Sorry to hear that.
And when I go back to Jackson, I linked up with him, and then I had this dude James Bailey. He had a studio. Like I told you, we built the first studio downtown area. I linked up with them, and we started doing some things and stuff. So, you know, I stayed on that scene and Ropes and Elbows. I ended up doing a project through Limp Bizkit. We did a project called the Covenant Project. It never got released, sadly. But we did some big ass records. And
so what happens to a song when it's unreleased? It just never, like, you don't.
It just sits.
You can't even shoot it out. Like,
they can, but we couldn't.
Oh, okay, okay.
We had no rights to it. And what happened was there was a guy that was involved in the situation, and he started pitching these other two artists. And went out, whom I really respect. One of them, he's doing life in prison right now. And the other guy, you know, he pretty much, you know, got older and stuff, so he didn't really too much touching hip hop. He did a project not too long ago. It was just some underground shit. But he started pitching them, and then they kind of like trashed the whole project and started leaning toward those guys and stuff. So everybody was on the project just went on side and kept doing everything, and I ended up a couple years later running into my boy Sess and stuff at How Can I Be Down? It's a big music conference in Miami. I go down for that. We performed a couple events and whatnot. He gave us passes to everything and stuff. We ran into each other and we made peace and whatnot. And man, there was a lot of shit happening at that event. That's why I tell people, I'm like, look, I've been to all the music conferences and stuff that they have every year. I usually go every year to all that shit. From when they had the Impact Convention to way back when they had Jack the Rapper, the fight that broke out of Jack the Rapper that Death Row never talks about. They talk about the beef they went through with Biggie them, but they do not talk about the issue they went through with Miami. And I've told dudes about this, you know what I'm saying, on the West Coast since I've been out here. I told dudes like, yeah, you know, Uncle Luke done whooped the shit out of Death Row. Man, that shit ain't never happened. Man, that's bullshit. I'm getting arguments. And it wasn't until my man Yuckmouth came out and he talked about it. It's on YouTube. You can find this shit too. He talked about the situation because they did some dirty ass shit to them too. Therefore, they took Numbskull. They threw Numbskull down a whole flight of stairs and shit. Crazy ass shit. But Luke them got in they ass show. And this happened 2 years in a row. The first year in Orlando, they tore the whole fucking video. That shit, you know, so then they moved it to Atlanta. And it ain't get no better because somebody swung on Dr. Dre and that shit. And the shit got crazy and whatnot. So they pretty much, Miami shut down the whole Jack the Rapper shit. That ended that convention. But they had other conventions I've been to. And How Can I Be Down? Boy, let me tell y'all, man. The music conferences, if you're an artist, you've never been to a music conference, yo, you don't know what you're missing, yo. As far as the good side of things, the networking is crazy. It's beautiful. It's some shit that you want to definitely go to. Then there's a downside. At some of those events, it gets kind of violent between the different crews and shit. It be wild and shit. And How Can I Be Down that year, 1997, boy, I'll never forget. I got to see, like, so many fights and dumb shit go down.
Oh, shit.
I watched Drew Down get beat up. Drew Down got the shit beat out of him and shit. And to keep the sleep, they got their ass man by a bunch of New York niggas. I watched Cube and Mac 10 get confronted by a bunch of New York niggas because all that East Coast, West Coast shit was still like tense and shit. And it's kind of fucked up. You know, I hated that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I love artists from both sides. You know what I mean? And we at the side, we was in the middle. Like, we was just like, well, damn. You know what I mean? Even to the point, like, I heard Outkast and I witnessed this at Source Awards and shit. I went and I witnessed this myself to see this shit. Outkast had one of the biggest albums out at the time. It was multi-platinum. Goody Mob and all them. They got totally virtually ignored. The Southern artists got ignored. We had Southern artists that was selling platinum stuff. They got totally ignored because the tension between the East Coast and West Coast was so big and everything that was the main focus at that event. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of fights, a lot of crazy shit went down at those events. So at How Can I Be Down, 97, this shit still was kind of floating. And, you know, niggas down there, man, this was Master P starting buzz. They got at Master P them. Why, I do not know. That shit was crazy. Tony Touch do this thing called the 50 MC freestyle. So when we went out there for that, me and my man Psycho, we got in the middle of that cypher. We were right there by the turntables, everything. Like, we were right in the middle of that shit. So all these superstar, you know what I'm saying, freestylers, battle rappers, I got a chance to spit, you know what I'm saying? Everybody out there getting their shit off. And then Drew Down comes through this shit and goes, yo man, he snatched the mic. Yo, what's up, Clue? What's up? No, Tony Touch, this and that. You know what I'm saying? You know, Drew got the bug ass teeth and shit. He like, man, y'all niggas out with this freestyle shit. We see on the West Side, nigga, we ain't with that freestyle shit. It's about pay styles. Why you say some stupid shit like that? You know what I'm saying? It's already tension in the air. That was dumb as fuck. So all of a sudden, I was like, yo, fuck that candy curl wearing ass nigga. Oh, man. And the dude ran up. And the kid sneaked through with the ugliest handset I've ever seen in my life. I was like, what the fuck was that? And that's when it was 3 times crazy or some shit like that. And they all had the candy curls and shit. Man, Drew had a red and white Adidas suit on. And bruh, they beat him out of his suit.
Wow.
They fucked him up. Like, it was crazy. Then they turned their attention on Master P when they pulled on their bus and shit. Then the next day, somebody got shot at Mary J. Blige's party. Who was there at that? And, you know what I'm saying, they had a big shootout inside that shit. All this in Miami now, South Beach.
And this is all during that tense moment of the East and West Coast.
Yeah,
so
that was like the tail end of that shit, like 97 and whatnot. So, they turn around, we go, we went to a concert at Luke threw, showcase he had. And it's a chick to be on my Instagram sometime. Her name is Jiggy G. She's the first like female artist that she kicked the door in for artists like Trina. She's the reason that artists like Saweetie is able to do what she do. Asian Doll and all these female rappers is talking the shit that they talk. You know what I'm saying? She was the first doing it. She's the mama of all that shit. People would say Trina and Lil Kim and Jiggy G. You know what I'm saying? She was signed to Luke and whatnot. And matter of fact, she was on one of the albums that went diamond and whatnot. So she, you know, but you know, some people just don't get their just dues and stuff. You know, Trina came in and took off what she took off and kind of overshadowed that. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. But she's actually the mother of that whole bad girl chick. You know what I'm saying? I can ride the dick better than this and that. I'm the dope girl chick rapper. She was the first one with that whole vibration. You know what I'm saying? A lot of records party, but her shit was nasty and shit. You know what I'm saying? So, but she could spit. She from New York, as a matter of fact, too. So, like, you know, we at that event, GG performed. This group called No Good Was So Good. You know what I'm saying? They performed. They used to be Luke dancers, but they ended up becoming a rap group. They had some of the Woo members, different cats from New York. They had my boy Akinelli. That's my nigga. Just put it in your mouth. You know what I'm saying? He performed. He got beat up.
Oh, shit.
He got beat up by an old dirty bastard.
Shit.
Yes. Me and my homeboy were standing there talking to Ghostface right at the curb. Like, Woo was always coming to Jacksonville. So we was living in Jacksonville at the time. We in Miami for the weekend for that event. But we was living in Jacksonville. But Woo always come to Jacksonville and stuff, you know what I'm saying? So when they would come, the little clique that I used to deal with up there, they was called E-Shooting, was always the guys that go pick them up. We drive them around. We bring them to the, you know, to the venues or whatever. And in most cases, we end up opening for them. And I got in with E-Shooting because Biggie had came, and my manager at the time, Sylvester Burton, he basically had put me on the show. You know, like I said, when I got to Jackson, I started doing a lot of stuff. He put me on the show, and I ended up opening up for Biggie, and I rocked that bitch so nasty. Like, Biggie came from the back, was like, yo, who that kid is? And we ended up getting Hart Pierre's number from Bad Boy, and I never signed with Bad Boy, but, you know, I had an opportunity through Harv and whatnot, and I ended up opening a couple more shows for Biggie and stuff, and then there was a couple other guys in the city, too, that opened as well that did, you know, open up for Biggie, too. Matter of fact, especially with E-Shooting crew and stuff, most of us, we was, any New York hip-hop style show or whatever came, we was the ones who got to open up. The Bums from out here, that's from Oakland, they came out there, we kicked the poly with them, opening for them. We was the first to bring hieroglyphics to the city when I was working with Black House, you know what I'm saying? So, and the Alcoholics, you know what I'm saying? I battled Tash. Yeah, I ain't gonna talk about that, but
So much
I got Tash. You know what I'm saying, from the alcoholics. So it's a lot of history, you know what I'm saying? I got a chance to rub elbows with a lot of people in the business. And fast forward, I ended up, you know what I'm saying, after all of that, you know, went down and stuff, and how can I be down? I worked on my man Psycho project. In the process while working on his project, I ended up, you know, I was back independent, you know what I'm saying, looking for a deal. I got the opportunity with Sony I was telling you about earlier and stuff. And the Sony situation, it just went real sour.
Yeah.
So I come back, you know what I'm saying, and I was like, you know, at a point where I was doing a lot of production too. And it's funny because, like, in Jacksonville, there's a lot of people don't even know I did beats. And I'm like, how the fuck y'all don't know that? Niggas be hit me like, bro, I didn't know you made beats. Like, what? I've been doing beats since I was a kid. What are you talking about? I got placement on records and all type of shit from back in the day. So we ended up, you know, me and Second working on his project. And then, you know what I'm saying, I end up linking up with this cat, Justice, which is the top, like, reggae DJ, you know what I'm saying? I hate to say it. He's the champion sound, you know what I'm saying, on the whole East Coast, you know what I'm saying, Florida and whatnot. And as far as like reggae classes, that dude was a fucking monster. He'll kill your fucking DJ on a DJ reggae class. He'll murder your DJ. You know what I'm saying? He's straight war heavy, a warrior.
And people don't notice how competitive DJ
is. Yeah, because see, like in Jamaica, the DJs battle. So, man, they don't call them DJs in Jamaica. In Jamaica, we call them selectors.
Oh,
and the DJ is the dude that, like Beanie Man, we call them the DJ. Instead of the MC, we call him the DJ. So, you know what I'm saying? But in American terms, you know what I'm saying, the selector, the DJ, he's a big selector. And so I linked up with him, and we throw in a club. We had our own little reggae club movement going on out there, Justice Movement, the Firehouse and all that shit. And he started 2 labels. He started Reggae Central and Firehouse Records, or More Fire Records. And he started to put out reggae artists. Now the reggae market is kind of like easy because what we do, me and you can start a label, right? And we can go and get an artist from Jamaica that's popping. Let's say for that girl Coffee, for instance, right? Mm-hmm. If she's not signed and locked into a contract with a major, we can go and get her and we can pay her $50,000, $20,000, whatever, you know, since she charged to do an album for us. She do the album, we put the album out, and sad part about the Jamaican music industry, when you put the album out, the artists, they don't really get nothing to publish it or none of that shit. The label does. But they get the tour off of it and they make the money on the tour. Yeah. And everything. In some cases they would negotiate for portion of sales and stuff, depending on the situation. So Justin, when he actually got me opportunity to produce for a reggae artist named Sizzler, very big international star. He got through him. I ended up producing for Luciano, another reggae artist, Capleton, Louis Culture. I did like about 6 cuts on Louis Culture's Uprising album. That's online. You can find that. That was an international. He had a big international hit called Donkey Bag. And Czar Black, you know what I'm saying? I did a lot of production and a lot of production work. You know, I worked on records for Plz. You know what I'm saying? And I'm also RIA certified. I used to get golden plaque. You know what I'm saying? Plaques and stuff too for projects like that. I also have 2 one of my homeboys that I met in Jacksonville, but he's from out here. He's currently down in LA. He just got like 4 plaques and stuff for platinum gold plaques and stuff. I'm proud of that dude, man, and whatnot.
I bet that feeling, huh?
Yeah, I just posted this shit. I don't know if you saw I posted the dude when he's standing by the Jeep.
Oh yeah,
that's my dude Clint Wayne, man. Bars, like stupid bars too. But he got his from ghostwriting.
Yeah.
So sometimes like the limelight sometimes don't be meant for certain artists and stuff, you know, and you get your break as a writer sometimes. So like most of my big accomplishments wasn't as an artist. My biggest accomplishments were producing. You know what I'm saying? I made more, you know what I'm saying, money and more accomplishments as a producer than I did as an artist. I mean, it's sad to say. And that's part of my fault too, because I can be lazy at times, or I got a lazy bone and whatnot. But I ain't dropped a full-length project in years and stuff. So it's like now, like what I'm working on right now is really something special for me, because I'm about to like punch holes in shit. I'm hungry again. I feel like hungry again. So, but I went through doing those reggae projects and stuff like that. Then I got a little situation with Sony, and I went on.
So when did you move to LA?
Well, the LA thing came after my last record label deal, my last label deal. The last label deal that I got, I signed with this company called Down Under, and it was distributed by VIBEZ.WIT.NEHEMIAH. VIBEZ.WIT.NEHEMIAH is one of the big hip hop labels in New York, independent, but they independent. But it was under Koch, which is now E1, and during that period. And I signed with them. And first I got a deal with American King and Capitol Records. And that was through this chick named Aisha. She basically had been hearing my name floating in New York or some stuff. And that was because a project I went up there and did, you know what I'm saying, when I had the situation with Sony. So my name had started floating up there, and I did some stuff with Smack DVD and with the Come Up DVD series and shit. I've been on a couple of them, you know what I'm saying, at some of the battles to battle with it was Philly versus New York or versus Harlem.
Oh yeah,
oh shit. That shit. Yeah, a couple people like, I saw you in that video. Like, yeah, I was there, man. That shit. But because I always go to events. I travel. I travel. You know, sometimes I would save the last little bit of money I got and just go to an event and be on the scene and rub elbows.
So do they still do music conventions? Do they still do music conventions?
Oh yeah, they still do that. I mean, pretty much it's this doggone COVID shit. It kind of shut a lot of stuff down. But pretty much we have music conventions around, you know what I'm saying, on the whole year and whatnot. DJ on what they call DJ on retreats, core DJs retreat. You got the MP3 wax retreat. You know, there's a lot of stuff, and you go there, and that's where you rub elbows with a lot of people in the industry and stuff. That's why I tell my artists, if you sitting at home base trying to just do this shit, especially for a market like this market is a dead market. Yeah. Like never taking away from Bakersfield, but Bakersfield is a dead market. There's nothing really here to really push you. Your market is next door, LA. And that's the thing it kind of puzzles me too. Be like, damn, why these artists don't go over the hill and fuck with LA? But some of you, they be like, oh man, we can't, politics, this, that. I'm like, fuck all that shit. Because I would got a studio in LA right now, and Bloods, Crips, everybody comes through that fucking lab. Everybody comes through there. I mean, I'm talking about Jay Stone, I'm talking about fucking Slim 400 records there. What's your little dude name? The little guy, Roddy Rich, he started off recording there. Yeah, the lab I got it right now. I go there and I do my sessions and I mix and stuff over there. And yeah, shit I been posting online with me and this dude Tajon. All types of man, celebs, we come through that shit. We had Boosie up there. We went to go mix a record for Boosie one night and everything. At another studio though, we went to the studio in Compton and they just moved to Atlanta. They got a big ass distribution in Atlanta for the company. But yeah, man, it's like you gotta put yourself in the places. You can't just sit around. If you're sitting here making these little cheap ass videos, recording some shit, you know what I'm saying, posting it up on YouTube with no promo plan or marketing, you're not gonna go anywhere. You're gonna stay in that same revolving door. So, you know, and that's why I preach what I preach. I be like, look, artists, y'all can do better, but it takes money. And if you ain't got it, you gotta get somebody with a bag that's gonna back you. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta be willing to like shut up and just follow like instructions sometimes, because there are people in this business that's more versed, that understand marketing, that understand promotion and stuff, and they're here to help your career pop. Because if you ain't pop yourself off with your little ideas and stuff, you know what I'm saying, sometimes you have to give up and learn a whole different method. I had to do it. We all have to go through that. You know what I mean? The difference with me is that I start off with labels. So I already know, you know what I'm saying, where the respect lies in that. And I know where the fuckers with labels too. So I signed to a label through VIBEZ.WIT.NEHEMIAH. And first they signed with American King and Capitol, which is the same label that Mims was on. I was label mates with Mims. That didn't work out too good. The guy who Drake stole got his whole style from, I ain't scared to say it, I say don't care. Drake stole his style from Obi and everything. Fuck that. And if it ever come back again, yeah, I said it. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? But the truth is, you know, Obi, they didn't really know what to do with Obi. You know what I mean? I guess that's just my interpretation. They really didn't know what to do with it. So I got an opportunity with those guys, and it didn't work out, you know, sadly. And the guy who was the co-owner of that label, American King, Corey, which is the owner of DigiWaves, which do all the blasts for all the artists and shit. That's how you get your records to the DJs. Oh, wow. Plug, I'm telling y'all what it is. I know. Exactly. You want to get your records to DJs, all that crying, because DJ so-and-so ain't playing my record, stupid. Go out there and you push your record through these platforms and stuff that feed the DJs. We get fed by platforms. We don't go to the store and buy your records like we used to. We don't go on YouTube and say, oh, she got a hot video. I'm going to download that shit and play it in the club. It don't work like that. You know what I'm saying? That's a way that you do it. So what happened is that we ended up, you know, basically, he gave me an offer because I had, you know, he was like, I want to sign you. He said, but I'm not going to give you an advance. He said, I'm going to put, you know, I don't even want to say the number because I said, oh, he lying. Nah, but it was a super stupid number that he was going to put behind my project. He believed in it that much. And I wish the guys in this day I'd have took that deal. I wish I'd have took it. So I listened to this chick. But the chick who was involved with him, you know what I'm saying, had a business relationship with him or whatever. She was upset, you know what I'm saying? She's like, oh no, I ain't gonna let you sign him because he got money, he should be in the because she was expecting to get something out of the deal. So she turned around and started her own label and said, yo, look, I want to sign you to my label. I believe in you. I want to support you. I've always been a fan. I've always been a friend. So I want to fuck with you. And I want to push you through VIBEZ.WIT.NEHEMIAH, blah, blah, blah. So, okay, let's try it. So we dropped the record, a single title, You Can Get It. That one record. One record. Not 4-5 albums with fugazi numbers, not 20 videos. One single. No video. We never shot video. You know what I'm saying? That single took me around the country. That's how I ended up on the BET event that you asked me about. That's how I ended up on a lot of stuff, a lot of things that I ended up on within that time frame because it was crazy. Like I was moving. And I got invited by Baby for Cash Money. That's how I got offered with Cash Money. And he invited me to his XXL party and stuff. The picture I got on my Instagram with me and Baby, I wasn't taking that no damn concert or he came to our city and I was backstage and movie shit. I got invited to his XXL party. The picture with me and Roxy Diaz was at that same party. The pictures with many different celebs I got was at events. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't at concerts, it was at events. When I joined where I just ran into somebody on some Hollywood shit.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? I'm at events. The picture with me and Gang, we had an event together. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, I got a lot of opportunities during that time frame when I was signed to them. Like a lot of shit happened. Like shit was happening so fast. Then I went on tour. It's another thing where artists fuck up at. Y'all put records out and y'all don't fucking go on tour. You don't plan out a promo tour. You know what I'm saying? You don't do a blast for your records for the DJs to get over to it. So that you can see where your record is being played at and you can see what's really popping with it and where you need to go at to really like promote your record. Artists don't think like that. All thing they thinking about is putting some shit on the internet and trying to fool their local friends and stuff like that. Yeah, I got numbers, yo. Yeah, fake ass numbers and shit. That shit slapping right back in the face. Like, well, yeah, nigga, you got 20,000 people. Why you ain't eating?
I know.
Fucking money. You know what I mean? People ask that question. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? And I ain't got 27,000 people following me on my Instagram. I had like about 37,000 on my Twitter before. But when I fell out with my label, they did some dirty ass shit. White boy shit. Damn. And I had to go and like change the passwords and everything and shit, saved a little bit that I got. But me and the person that I was dealing with, we had a good run. I went on the tour with Yellow Wolf, with Mims, with part of my tour. The majority of the part I did with Young Bird, known as Hitmaker. I did a lot of shit with him and stuff on that situation. Him and his ex-manager, God bless his dead, Cameron, and whatnot. We started the tour in Miami, and we shot all up through Florida. Went all up, you know what I'm saying, Eastern Seaboard and shit. The Carolinas, Georgia, you know what I'm saying, Alabama.
Isn't that crazy that you used to just travel just to do that? Yeah. Now you're actually going through here.
Right. So we were supposed to actually come out here on one leg up tour. We went to Chicago to the Midwest. We did the Midwest. He couldn't go because he had got issues out there with the gang members out there in Chicago. Sure. So that's a threat on his life to go out there. This shit was crazy and whatnot. Even had some niggas try to come on the road and confirm while we was on tour.
Oh wow. I know, right?
I ain't got the hat on. If I have all the hat on, then I'll show you what I mean. Yeah. We ain't having that shit. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But that situation went down. So shit was moving. We got the single moving. We did core DJs retreats. We did the BET events, and I got to go to Soul Train Music Awards, BET Hip Hop Awards. I've been to all that shit. The Vibe Music Seminar, all that shit. So I'm at everything that year. And I was at odds with a DJ out of Florida, a well-known DJ who got something to do with winding up Lucci's career. He used to be Jesus A&R rep. Me and him had a beef at the time. And, you know, we pieced that shit out. And I think he was shocked. When he saw me, he started seeing me at all the shit. BT Hip Hop Awards, I'm at W. I'm sitting down on the couch with Shiny Reed and shit from MTV, you know, shopping it with them. Me and Mr. Mix from 2 Live Crew. You know what I'm saying? We had a song called Bionic. We had did this shit and everything. And he had produced a remix for my main single featuring this chick named Risque, who was popping at the time out of Florida. He saw me at that shit. I think he was tripping because, you know what I'm saying, you know, I was living in Jacksonville, the last he knew and stuff at the time, and I was the only Florida artist at most of those events. The only one. There wasn't nobody else. I mean, as far as like that's up and coming in the game, I was the only one. You know what I'm saying? And compared to even the ones that was in Jacksonville that was popping, they had the name and shit. I was doing more than what they was doing. I was being seen more on scenes that these dudes should be on. They lazy. It was there. I was there. So it was funny. He didn't know I was on the show, and this shit was crazy. I was backstage chopping up with Shice Bug. We chopping it. We label mates at the time, and it was funny because he would announcing the artist right when he got down to me and whatnot. Nip was on that show too. He performed on that show. Phones with Bentley. When he announced me, I came out, and he was like, "Yeah, coming nation stage from Miami, Florida, Zarp, like what the fuck?" And he looked at me, and I came out. I said, "Yo, big us, bigger ranking, man. Shout out to my man, bigger ranking, the whole team up in this piece, and everything." I said, "Yo, this is I'm gonna give y'all a couple, you know what I'm saying, you know, so and so's off my project and whatnot, my upcoming project, you know what I'm saying, and I'm gonna bless y'all with this single and whatnot." And I went into my set. I rocked that bitch. They on hip what it was back then before it was World Star, they had allhiphop.com. Allhiphop.com voted my performance. They said that my performance, and on Ustream said that my performance, Funds with Bentley performance, was the best performance out of the whole venue. We outdid Nip. No respect, no lack of respect to Nipsey Hussle. But yo, I outperformed him on that event. Cause see, I got like honestly performing. I got to show set. I do sets. You know what I'm saying? I really know what to do on that stage. I don't fuck off on that stage. And performance is very important to me. I practice for weeks and shit for shows. If I get told I got a show, I practice for weeks before I go do it. You know what I'm saying? So, we went out, and this was really like for me, it was a new situation for me too because I was used to performing with. I used to have hype man, and we do sets and stuff, and I have my DJ and whatever. This is the first time I performed on venue. It was just me by myself. I'm by myself out there. You know what I'm saying? No hype man, no nothing. No second member of the crew, none of that shit. So I go out there and just smash that shit. And they like, the first situation that happened, that was my first on a big major event like the BET was. But when we did the core DJ retreat the year before, that was my first time performing by myself. That's on YouTube too. Tony Neal came out, which is the head of the core DJs. He co-signed me on that. And he came out, he said, "Yo, I came all the way over here for this fucking record, my nigga." He was like, "This is a hot ass record." He said, "Man, y'all gotta run that shit back." He made DJ Backspin my shit back. And you know what I'm saying? Rock. That shit, I got video footage of that on YouTube and everything. You know what I'm saying? I got proof. I got receipts and everything. Everything else people got receipts. I tell you guys all the time, I got receipts. So the funny thing is, we did all that. I toured. Did part of my tour with Yellow Wolf. We did Huntsville, Alabama and shit. We did a lot of different pool parties. They have what they call record pool parties in the South. I know they don't do that out here too much. And that's kind of sad. That's a part of the culture that I think the West Coast is missing out on. They need that out here for the artists and shit.
So what is that exactly? Just a
record pool party is a meet and greet between artists and DJs. And tastemakers and radio programmers and shit like that.
Yeah.
And they have a venue, and artists pay their fees and shit. They get to perform on the venue and showcase their music, and you get to rub elbows with certain DJs, and a lot of shit happens at those events. You know, opportunities open up. I remember I got invited to one that happened with Greg Street in Atlanta, and that's when my man Sahai the Prince, my first time seeing Sahai the Prince perform, and I was floored by his performance. That dude was like a god to me, like as a performer. Like I was like, wow, like incredible. Rich Boy was the bigger artist on the venue, and he outshined Rich Boy. And I think Sahai was signed to Convict at that time. This is before he got with Eminem and all that shit. He was signed to Convict, but yeah, man, like you get to go to all these type of. I'm going to all this shit, man. I'm going to every like entertainment event that those 2 years and stuff, or really those 3 years, because 2009, 2010, 2011. Really started in 2008, but I ain't gonna count 2008. But 2009, 2010, 2011, and then I was supposed to perform All Star Weekend 2011. I was supposed to perform Super Bowl Weekend 2011, but me and my label fell out, and that ended the situation. And that was my last record. Well, not really my last record because I got another offer. That's what brought me to California in 2013. Freeway Ricky Ross. I met him BET Awards Weekend. You know what I'm saying? 2010, and I got invited to an industry party up in the hills of Beverly Hills, and at a mansion party. It was at Antonio Banderas' mansion. I got a picture on my Instagram. Freeway Ricky Ross.
Look on his Instagram.
DJ Quick. Check out my joint. Go through my pictures. You gonna find a lot of shit. And those celebrity pictures was not at no concerts. They was at events. You know what I'm saying? But we was at this mansion party. DJ Quick was there. Corrupt was there. And it was so funny, yo. Corrupt walked up and he called me by my stage name. He was like, yo, what's up, Zara Black? And I was like, that shit fucked me up. I'm like, this superstar nigga is calling me. Like, what the fuck? So, you know, down the road, so like, for real, I'm a fan of Corrupt anyway. You know what I'm saying? He's, one of my favorite MCs too. He's in my top 20. You know what I mean? So, I fucked around and everything. Bad Girls Club star Natalie Nunn, she was there. She was hosting the event. My publicist got us on that. That's another thing. You gotta have a publicist. You want to get this stuff like BET and all these type of events, but you gotta hire your publicist. You know what I'm saying? That's needed for any artist. A lot of artists don't have that. Public relations, they don't have it. And it costs you though. I mean, I was paying like a $5,000 a month ticket for that shit. You know what I'm saying? But I had a budget. You know what I'm saying? I had a budget when I was sitting on some paper at the time, so it was nothing. That's why I tell people, like, to really get to the levels that you see your favorite artists at, you gotta have money behind you. It takes money. I had a $500,000 budget at that time, and I had street money too. I ain't gonna say the numbers. Feds watching, I ain't gonna on the strip, you know, I mean, we was making moves. We put our money where our mouth is, you know what I'm saying? And we understood from the gate that it was gonna take that. So me and her matched money. I poured $50,000 of my own money. You know what I'm saying? And put it into that situation. She put in money with me. She matched. And we started making moves. And then we got the label situation locked down. They gave us an advance and shit. You know what I'm saying? And shit moved from there. So, things sadly came to a real bitter, fucked up ass ending between us two. I found out some things about the contract that was no point. She was supposed to give me an advance, and I never got that advance and stuff. And it was excuse after excuse after excuse. We were on the road, and we was in Chicago for an event. I did an event with Lupe Fiasco.
Oh wow!
Yeah, me, Lupe Fiasco, Common. It was like a holiday toy drive for the kids and shit.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah, so I got a chance to participate in that. And then George Daniels, which was my publicist, Regina Daniels, her husband, which is one of the most popular mom and pop record store owners in Chicago and stuff. George and his wife, she was publicist for R. Kelly, for Common, for Twisted, and so on and so forth. But like she been a publicist for a lot of people. She wasn't being properly compensated. I found that out while I was there, and it was just a lot of shit that went on in Chicago that kind of fucked shit up. So when I came back to Florida, I hollered at my boy Cash about managing me and shit, and I was like, Cash, I can't fuck with Ish. I gotta leave this label. This shit is fucked up. And then we found out that I literally could just walk out the contract with the shit she could do. Like literally. Because she breached contract the day that she signed. And that's the thing I tell people all the time. Contracts are very important. Exactly. The situation I'm in right now and stuff is due to somebody not understanding contracts. She lost the lawsuit. She tried to sue me for $10,000 and lost that shit because she didn't realize that in my contract there's a clause that protects me from lawsuits. That's number one. Number two, Unless I really do something to prove that I did something that was out of pocket. Number two, you know what I'm saying? She basically tried to pull some real funky ass shit, and it backfired in her face. So she tried to take me to court, and I've been beating that shit down with a baseball bat. Now I gotta go to federal court June 28th for a DMCA that I filed against her to protect my music. And her lawyer responded and basically tried to say that my DMCA was false and everything. I don't know if you've seen. I don't know if you've seen online. I posted a video with these kids. I did some production for these kids. I started a little song called Me, 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 and all that. And I produced a record for the kids. I produced 2 records for them actually. And I went to work a deal. I got the kid a situation with Atlantic. They fucked out. Her mom fucked that whole shit up. Hey, a lot of you mom managers are bomb schemes. Y'all know what the fuck y'all doing, bro. Y'all don't understand this business and shit. Y'all be fucking up opportunities for your kids and everything else by being too much. You know what I'm saying? And it's understandable. You don't know the business, that's understandable. But learn it, man. There's too many books, there's too much information out there for you to not know what's going on, and you're just doing anything to try to, make it seem like some shit's going on.
Have you ever thought about writing a book, honestly?
Actually, I'm working on a digital book. I'm working on this, like a memoirs, all the things I've been through in the industry, what I've seen, people I've met. Some stuff I'm wearing out now. If I want to include a lot of fucked up shit that I see, I'm talking about, I done seen some shit, fights, all types of crazy shit. I'm talking about celebrities like clashing. You know what I'm saying? I dated a couple celebrities and shit. You know what I'm saying? I had some crazy opportunities. It's just like stuff just falling in my hand, and pretty much back to what I was speaking on as far as like my last deal, that shit went sour, and I moved on. I stayed independent. So I met this chick named Nikki Black at one of the venues. She reached out to me. She said, "Yo, you was moving with your music. I was following you like crazy. She's like, man, what the fuck is going on with your career?" Because I went on a hiatus for almost 2 years, up until like 2013. From 2011 to 2013, almost 2 years, something like that. And everything just started going downhill. And then my manager, he was doing some weird ass shit. Like 1 minute he hyped up about some shit I'm doing, the next minute he putting the plug on me like, "Yo, bro, you can't do this and that." We had this record we put out called Factual. I saw on the record. I was singing out right. I saw on the record. I didn't use no auto-tunes on the record at all. Only thing we did is put a flanger on my vocals. That's all we did. Put a light flanger and some effects, but no auto-tunes. I sung every note like pure. Man, this dude hit me back to like the DJs ain't trying to fuck with the record because it's Jay-Z came out with that Death with Auto-Tune shit. Oh yeah, it's like around 2012 shit like that. And I'm like, man, fuck what Jay-Z came out. First time I came to Bakersfield, Ace put me on the show out here.
Oh, okay. So you actually performed that?
Yeah. They had Club 21. And then the following year I moved out here and whatnot to get closer to LA because my girl's family, they all out here. She got a lot of cousins and everybody. She got a family out here. And so we moved out here, like, let's get close, because I be need to go to LA, and I got the gig working at the studio out there and shit, so I'm like, shit, I need to be close to LA, man. Because that coming from way up there ain't gonna work. That's just too much.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so I ended up, you know what I'm saying, let's get back to this whole thing. As far as we come to Cali, Nikki Black, she reached out to me, and she was like, yo, I want to rebuild your career. You know what I mean? She was like, you was rolling. So I need to get you back on point. So she brought me, you know what I'm saying, out here to Cali. She said she can better work my situation. She said, let's just try a new scene for you. It's time for you to just try something new. She's like, and my mom said something to me before she died. And she said this a lot. If you ever get on, you ever break into business, build my house in California. My mom used to say that all the time. So I said, well, maybe this is my calling. Maybe it's my opportunity. So I packed up my shit and left a lot of shit behind and came to Cali. And started holding the rug. I've been in Cali 8 years now. I've been in Vegas for like 3.
You moved to
the Bay.
The Bay?
Yeah.
In Oakland? Or?
Yeah, Oakland, and then I ended up in Sacramento and whatnot. But it's like she got me out here. We started doing a lot of shit, a lot of movement started going on and stuff. My name started getting pretty big in the Sacramento area, in the Oakland area, I started, you know, rubbing elbows with a lot of people and stuff. Sugar T, different people like that, you know. And some of the guys on the scene in Sacramento, like my man Jay and Till, my man Pete Rodriguez, a couple people out there, Henny, who has the 360 radio show out there, you know. So, you know, there's a lot of people that I met. Mozzie, you know what I'm saying? I met him when I first came out there and shit. Well, we never linked up and shit, but I got to do a session with some of his other artists. With, what's the other dude? Not Easy Marcus, but what's the other guy name? Fuck, I can't think his name. He go by Mozzie too, something else Mozzie. But anyway, I got to do a session, be in a session with them.
Yeah, what you're talking about, yeah.
And then some of the Lavish people linked up with me and stuff. The cat that's at odds with Mozzie, they linked up with me and we started working together and shit. That's how that Don't Play record came about too. It's funny because originally one of the Lavish people was supposed to be on that record as the feature, and then they just got on some. They was young kids and they was tied up in the game, banging the street shit. And I kept telling them like, look, y'all gotta make a decision. If we're gonna do this music, let's do this music. I got a whole studio downtown and shit, downtown Sac. I'm like, yo, let's put our history and let's build. We can turn this into something really big. Because these kids was talented, you know what I mean? I didn't care about them being involved with Lavish or if they was involved with Mozzie. I ain't got nothing to do with the politics, you know what I'm saying? Because I look at it like that, we all black men and shit, we should be working together, you know what I'm saying? That's just how I see it. So, same thing when I go to LA, I fuck with Blood niggas, I fuck with Eaglewood niggas, I fuck with, you know what I'm saying, a couple bounty hunter niggas, you know what I'm saying? I know a couple people that's really affiliated on that wild side of shit. And I don't even look at their affiliations. I look at them as a person.
Yeah.
Some of the most hardcore people from the most hardcore movements out there, shit, deep down inside, they still human fucking beings and shit. And you get to see that sometimes, depending on how you approach. You know what I'm saying? You're approaching it from a street perspective, and you'll see street perspective. Right? You're approaching it from, you know, a business perspective. In most cases, I run into guys that just, you know what I'm saying, keep it on the business side of shit, you know what I'm saying, with me. Or the brother side of shit, you know what I'm saying? Or that's a real black man, that type of thing, you know. And don't be no division, you know what I'm saying? I'm from a whole different set. I'm from Little Haiti and stuff. I'm a Zoe. Our flag got red and blue on it. You know what I'm saying? Country flag. I'm Jamaican and Haitian, so I got, you know what I'm saying? Our flag got the red and blue on it. You know, as far as the Haitian flag and stuff goes, that side of my lineage. So, for me, you know, when I came out here, I started getting feet wet and rubbing elbows with people and stuff, and we decided, you know what I'm saying, I met my wife and stuff, and, you know, we got together, we started doing stuff together, because she do video and all that type of shit too, and she does art and all types of other things, so she's very talented. We decided we were going to relocate, come down to San. After I did the show down here, and it was like so dope how shit went. I said, fuck, let me go check out Bakersfield. She told me, she said, Bakersfield's kind of dry, man. A lot of haters out here, you gonna run into, like, you know, like shit, you gonna want to just deal with LA. But I'm like this, if I leave my head here and there's a scene of some sort, I started looking and I said, well, maybe some of these artists don't get the fact that you really want to tap in with LA and move your shit.
Exactly.
This is just where you live, this is the scene where you fucks where you at. But the scene here, there's no real music scene here. It's just a bunch of talented individuals. Well, talented and non-talented, because some people I even think they're talented. I'm just real. You know? And it's some people that's talented and their attitudes and some of their demeanors and shit will fuck them up in the business. And they don't realize their part because they have never been through what we call artist development to know that and everything. So, I got out here, you know what I'm saying, and I started rubbing elbows with a couple of people. I met KG from the radio station. I met Kev King and whatnot. Then I started meeting some of the artists. I've had some good meets with some artists, and I had some funky ass weird artists out here. You know what I'm saying? Some artists I just don't fuck with because of those funky situations. I just stay away from. I'm like, it's not no benefit to me.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And it's not. And honestly, it's more of a benefit coming from me than I'm getting from them.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Because I got things I can bring to the table, I can offer, you know what I'm saying, as a...
People don't see it that way. Like when they meet new people or anything like that, they don't see it like that.
Because some people be in their egotistical bubble. And when they in that egotistical bubble and shit, they don't think nothing's above that. You know what I'm saying? And it's not that I'm even trying to be above nobody. You know,
but you do gotta be smart on who you let in your life.
Right.
You know?
I got people thinking I be taking shots at them online and shit, and I don't. I don't even be there. Like, I tell people, I'm like, look, when I speak on my shit about the industry, about music, it's really based on the fact that I know a lot of people on local scenes around the country. Not just here.
Yeah, no.
I got people back in Jacksonville that, you know, I bump heads with. I got people back and forth, a lot of them in Miami that I be getting their ass about the dumb shit they do as artists and shit. Like, yo, bro, that ain't what's gonna break it for you. That's not gonna happen. So a lot of times, excuse me, my videos that I post online and stuff be universal. You know, some stuff just happen to pertain to certain individuals. You know what I'm saying?
But if you got the knowledge, why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
When I talk about fugazi numbers, I'm like, what good is it doing? I just saw a new video about female artists out here, right? And I'm scratching my head, like, you still ain't got the picture. You still doing the same thing you was doing 2 years ago when I met you. That should tell you something. You still on the same fucking level. You still faking it to make it. And you still ain't making no money off your records. Your record still ain't getting no spins. That should tell you something. I have 2 record labels. One is BGMG, Black Glove Music Group. The other one is on 808 Kings Music. 808 Kings was supposed to be like a production team thing, and I turned around and decided to turn it into a label as well. So I have 2 labels, and I have 4 distribution situations. My mom used to say this, yo, Miss you rest in peace. She say, you never know when you're entertained by angels. That was what she's always saying. So I always been mindful, you know what I'm saying? Like when I go over to LA and shit, I'm a whole different person, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm on some like observing and
you gotta
soaking it in, rubbing elbows. I was supposed to be on the out with Yo Gotti just a couple days ago because I met this producer named Jet Set Tsunami. Shout out Jet Set, man. We supposed to be doing some collabs and stuff and trading off on beats and stuff. But I was supposed to go hang out with him and shit. We supposed to link up and everything. But I ended up missing the opportunity. But I had some other stuff going on. But that's neither here nor there. But I say this, like a lot of stuff that I speak on and stuff, it's not to sham no artist, not to mistreat nobody. I was a hardliner. I worked as an A&R rep for Interscope, you know what I'm saying, for 4 years under Rico Wave, Organized Noise, Goody Mob, you know, Outkast, responsible for all those guys. And I worked on under, you know, a couple other people in this industry and whatnot, and I learned, I soaked them like a sponge. And a lot of the things that you deal with, you could sit down at a record label with your music, you better have your shit on point. A lot of these artists right here, if I was to do a showcase, and I say this right now, and I ain't scared to say it, and despite how talented people think they are, how dope they think they are, and which is cool, it's good you think you're dope, but some people be ego tripping way beyond. If I was to throw an event and bring A&R reps from labels out here right now, I can almost guarantee you this, damn near nobody would get signed from this city. None of you artists would get signed. And the reason being is stuff because a lot of your shit is not lined up, it's not on point. Labels don't sign you with talent no more. And they damn sure have to sign you on some half-ass talent or half-mixed shit, and you record it in your homeboy's Nike shoebox and shit. That shit ain't gonna work. It's not gonna work. You gotta have that shit quality to the point where they gotta do is grab the package and go with it. That's how labels work now. You gotta have a situation where your fan base is already, you know what I'm saying, beginning to accumulate, and you don't actually broke a record for them to even consider you for a deal nowadays. Because in most cases, the artists that they picked up, you guys like, may you rest in peace, X-Natasha only got the $10 million deal. He didn't get that $10 million deal just because he could rap. You know, so he got that because he was making moves and he really was moving records. And he was getting spins. And he had the internet. It's not just this internet shit. You got to lock your DJs in. What good is you having a record on the internet shit if the DJs ain't playing?
Exactly.
And
people don't realize that because of streaming now.
Yeah, they think streaming is everything. It's like streaming don't even pay that much money. YouTube is the worst streaming site. The worst. Spotify don't pay all that much. You know what I'm saying? Napster pays more than Spotify. Tidal pays more than Spotify. You know what I'm saying? And you got to at least do $1 million to see a check. You got to do damn near $500,000 to $1 million to see a check. So if streaming paid the way radio paid, oh, niggas would be fucking super rich. That should be crazy.
So the radio is where it's at.
Radio actually pays. Radio, royalties of radio that you make for spins. And the thing is about radio, it works like this. I see a lot of people, this is another mistake I see with a lot of artists. True first, I'm just being, this is my true self right now. I see a lot of artists make the mistake of thinking because they went on this person's radio show or that person's radio show that they made a major accomplishment. No. That's great that you did that. It gives you some exposure. But what's the follow-up? You went on a radio show and freestyle. So, where's your single? Where's the hit? Where's the record?
Always gotta have something on your...
Right. Then, they think because they got a single featured on the radio, played a couple times. Look, man, if your song is in a rotation, you ain't making no money off of it. And if it's in rotation on one station, that's nothing. There's no real money in that. You got to be on rotation at that station, there's sister stations and stuff, and then other stations abroad. Like for one, to really see a check in California from radio, you got to at least have California radio buzzing your shit on like that must spin cycle. And you got to at least have the whole state of California, every station out here that's urban or whatever, locked down on music. And you got to have the next state over, Nevada, on lock. Regional really is what you want. But you can get statewide. California's a big ass state.
Yeah.
So you'll see money if you constantly get radio play, and which sometimes what happens that trickles out to other stations across abroad. You know, so like for instance, Kanye, when she came on with My Neck and My Back, that record played for almost 3 years in Florida and shit before it broke around anywhere else.
For real?
Yeah, by the time it went nationwide, we was 3 years in a hole with that record.
Yeah, and then
that's how long we've been here.
Got tired of it by now.
Yeah, that shit was rotation throughout the state for like 3 whole years. You know what I'm saying? There's a couple records I can name like that. But the thing is, it's not as simple as you go in the studio, record some shit, do a video, throw it out there, and boom, voila, it's a rap career. You blow it up. It don't work like that. You got to put promotion behind your records. You got to put marketing behind your record, and you got to feed these DJs your record so they can get the spinning your shit. No spins and shit, then it's pointless. If I can't go, put it this way, there's a lot of artists that got this big hit think they got a buzz because they done squeeze the numbers and start fooling themselves and shit. You know what I'm saying? Or because they get 200 likes on Facebook and stuff from people they went to school with, that you grew up with. You know what I'm saying? That they doing some shit. Look, man, it's like this. If I can't go down the street to Fresno and go in a bar or club or urban spot and hear your record, you ain't doing shit. If I can't go to LA and go to the CNS club, which play a lot of local shit from LA, and I go up in that bitch and I hear your record playing, you ain't doing shit. If you're actually going on YouTube, downloading beats for free and rapping over that shit and putting that shit out through not SoundCloud, but through well, even with SoundCloud, but through fucking all these distribution chains, TuneCore and all these others and stuff, you ain't doing shit, yo.
Because they're not buying the beat, they're not.
Right, you didn't pay for the beat. You don't even have the rights to even license that. So basically, you're doing something illegal that's going to get you sued down the line. Like, I watched this shit happen with Waka Flocka, right? Waka Flocka mom used to manage Deborah. During the time we was dealing with Waka, my ex-manager actually broke Waka Flocka's record before he became my manager. He broke Waka Flocka's, what's the name of it? Oh, Let's Do It. And Hard to Paint was the one that he really broke. And everything. Gucci's Yellow Diamonds and Doro's Ice Cream Paint Jar. He broke those records.
Yeah.
Now, this is the thing. When Waka did Hard to Paint, Waka got a beat that he downloaded of Lex Luger's, and he went and recorded Hard to Paint over. Leaked it out, and shit started blowing the fuck up. That shit all radio on the show and everything, which was kind of crazy. So Lex like, oh, hold on, man. I ain't no license to use my beat. And he ain't never paying me. So now lawyers started contacting Devil and stuff. They had to turn around and shell out money to this man and shit or face a cease and desist. Because your whole project gonna get snatched for that shit. Like, right now, the chick that's trying to sue me right now, she basically told me she could put my music out without paying me anything. I would sit there and watch. She paid me a front, but off the back end, I wouldn't get nothing. Da, da, da. And she thought she could work me like that. I laughed. I said, yo, I got a contract with you, Mom. Go ahead. I'll let you do it. I'll let you make all you in the world. Break your neck when I sue you.
Yes. Yeah.
So then she started doing like other shit that annoyed the fuck out of me. Dragging back to court on false claims, harassment claims, all such stupid shit.
Dang, all the headaches, huh?
And I'm winning this shit. Every time I go and win it. You know what I'm saying? Judge ain't buying that shit she told me. So what she fucked up at is that contract that I had was intact. The reason I ended up working with her in the first place is because she got a beat from online. It's nothing, even when you buy these beat packages. Nothing, yo. Them beat packages is bunk, yo. Don't fall for that dumb shit. Get you a personal producer and work with a personal producer. Or if you go meet a producer online, try to lock him in as somebody that you deal with on a personal level. Business-wise, but business personal. Not saying like, you know, just basically lock him in as somebody that's your go-to guy and you pay this motherfucker.
Exactly.
Because that $149 for bulk of beats and shit, you ain't got ownership to none of that shit. And I just had an artist just the other day. Matter of fact, when I leave here, I gotta go home. I gotta finish working on his hook for his song and shit. This dude went and bought a bulk of beats for $149 for some beat company, so some beats. You know what I'm saying? The guys who have the Drake type beat and this type beat. I hate that shit. Oh, I hate that stupid shit. Like, why? Drake don't even make beats, so how is it a Drake type beat? I know. But anyway, so he went and got this bulk of beats. So he said, yo, I'm gonna send you the beats, da da da. So he sent it to me, whatever. So I asked him, I said, yo, quick question. You got the stems to these? And he's like, I don't know, I think I do. You think? I'm like, yo, what are you talking in his contract? Oh man, it's just something basic, this and that, da da da. Did you sign that shit? Yeah, man. I said, let me see the contract. I read his contract, man. The producers ain't really getting over. They just protecting their intellectual property by leasing it to you and stuff, but not giving you ownership because you ain't paying them enough money. So I said, how much you pay for this? He said, $149. And I said, you got exclusive rights? He said, well, I got he said unlimited rights, unlimited lease. I said, that ain't shit, yo. That's trick knowledge. They be using that shit to trick your ass. And I said, because guess what's happening? You bought that package, somebody else is going to buy that package.
Exactly.
And then another producer's going to buy that package. Check this out. There's an artist we know. Me and you know both right here in the bitch for right now. This is some funny ass shit. They put a record out not too long ago. They didn't buy the beat. I know they didn't buy the beat. They went online, download the shelf YouTube from what I was told. Somebody that's inside told me this and everything. And they put this shit out. The record has potential. It could be a potential record if they push it right. But they ain't. They already trying to move on to other shit already. They ain't broke that record. It's dumb shit like that. That beat that they got, I know somebody right now who got that beat and shit. It's about to buy that shit exclusively, and that's what's gonna happen to their song. They gonna follow the DMCA and have their shit removed. Right now. Somebody we know right out here right now. And they're gonna be sick as fuck on this shit.
I mean, honestly, bro, like, I'm at fault of doing some things you're down to
Right.
So, obviously, you had a lot of experiences with things. Obviously, before we let you go, I want to definitely ask you, though, like, what is the top 5 things that you wouldn't do as an artist in 2021?
Sell my soul, number one. And whatnot. And I don't mean that for no devil shit. But I mean, you know, basically, you know, take some just for the popularity and shit and not really looking to a deal to see what's lucrative and stuff for me futuristically and stuff, because all that counts and whatnot. One of the things I think I wouldn't do, I can think of off the top, I wouldn't, how do you put this shit? I don't think I'll never take a label deal. I'll never sign as an artist under a label again. Be myself, because of where I've been and what I've seen. Exactly. And I'm a little too old. You know what I'm saying? I'm a young OG. So I'm at an age right now where a label, I can still get a deal, but it's just, wouldn't make no sense. But now as I got the shit that I know, that shit make no sense. I can put my own records out. You know what I mean?
Because it's like it's for people that don't know,
right?
Or people that kind of need
that. And I just wouldn't take another deal. Number two, what I wouldn't do, I never manage an artist again. Never, ever, ever. That's a fucking headache. I feel good about being a label and a producer and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Management. You know what I'm saying? I would never travel in a lane with the music business that, you know what I'm saying, that I'm not knowledgeable of and shit. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's pretty much it. I can't think of too many don'ts and stuff. And I can tell the artists what that don't should be. Number one, don't shoot a video before you break your record. Because you're hustling backwards. Break your record, put your money behind your record, put the money behind the push of the record. Once you see your numbers start climbing, this is a demand for a visual. That's how the industry does it. They wait until that demand comes for a visual. Like, man, we want to see what he look like. We want to see what's going on with it. Then you shoot that fucking video. You know what I'm saying? Once that record start buzzing, then you shoot the video. Or you can shoot it, but don't release it until the record start moving. That's why I'm doing a new video for my Don't Play record. Because the video I just released and shit, that it's not even seriously the video. That's just some shit I just did for visuals because I hadn't done visuals in so long and stuff. You know what I mean? But I had an official video that I'm actually get ready to start setting up the shoot and get the treatment for it.
When you get the money. I see that bitch.
So, yeah, because you seen that video, the video don't really fit the song, you know what I'm saying, to me. I feel like.
Was it Venice, though?
Huh?
Was it Venice?
Yeah, Venice. Yeah. That should have been someone just be on some spit games. I should just drop lyrics and some shit. That would have been perfect, you know what I'm saying? But for that song, nah. That song I gotta have seen. That shit gotta be some big boy shit. I gotta be blowing big ass
like
shit with jury and shit. Seeing the Maybach with the damn the garage opening up in slow motion. It gotta be some fly shit. You know what I'm saying? I got another record like that too that I never shot a video for and I never really seriously released it. I got a song called Blow. The Blow record, man. Me and my ex-manager, we talked about this. He said, God damn, bro. Why did you do this fucking record? No, why? He said, because, man, this is one of the records that's out of budget. I said, why you say that? He said, because we're about to spend a lot of money to make this record right, really look sick right. He said, because with this record, nigga, you supposed to be pulling up in front of the fucking mansion and shit, nigga. You got the bitches getting out, they open the doors when you coming out with your fucking fur clothes and jewelry and shit. Like, nigga, this is a big record. I wrote the record for Jeezy.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I wrote the pick because I also ghostwrite too. I'm ghostwriting for a couple artists and stuff. It's another way I get a check. I produce records that for commercial jingles and stuff. I produce music for like soundtrack shit. I'm part of a membership where I can shop music to soundtracks and stuff or for movies and shit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that shit pay out. Matter of fact, just to give y'all some real shit. I've told people my initial price for beats. They be like, man, that's too expensive. I get a beat for $49. I be like, I'll get you a $49 beat. You won't get far with that. But I work with artists too, in accordance to that budget too. I don't try to knock people's head off, especially if I know that you're struggling and you're struggling also, I'm not going to shit on you. You know what I'm saying? But I do have my initial price for beats and stuff, and it ain't no $200, $300 and shit. You know what I'm saying? We talking anywhere from a rack or better. You know, I just tell people all the time that there are things that I've experienced and stuff, so I just try to point the artists in that right direction and stuff to steer past the dumb shit. There's a lot of dumb shit in this business. And you gotta be careful. There's a lot of snares, a lot of entrapment, a lot of crazy shit. Some of these artists right now, like, I can take a couple artists out here right now. Some of them would sign a deal like that and shit just because they saw the money figures. Or they could come in and offer them $250,000 for a project right now and everything, and they'll jump right on it for that $250,000, not looking at everything else that comes along with that.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
That's not a lot of money.
No, it's not.
Especially, I mean, like, if you think about, like you said.
I just got offered $250,000 shit for some shit. And I said, nope. And I was talking like, nigga, what the hell are you doing? Yeah, that's $250,000 for that little shit you got to do. Nope. Because I got to look at the value. They didn't want to give me no royalties. They just wanted to pay me slap out. For to cash me out. And I'm like, no. especially for the tracks that they want. No, not happening. I was just in the studio with Fetty Wap like about 3 weeks ago.
Oh shoot, for real?
Yeah, dead ass. I said I be here, but when I'm in LA, I be in the studio with a lot of celebs and shit. You know what I'm saying? I be on some real like connect type shit. And it's like I tell people all the time, like, you know.
So why are they?
I didn't invite cats to go to the studio.
Why are they passing you there, man?
I mean, what's going on with me? Like, I got some stuff. I don't talk about a lot of stuff that I do. Some stuff I have to keep low key because they don't be wanting the info to leak before they probably just
I totally understand that.
Yeah. So, you know, but I've been working on some projects the last couple months and shit. A couple projects. I ain't talking about a lot of shit. I'll leave one. I'll tell you one. I got an opportunity with Griselda.
Oh wow.
I got an op with Griselda. I ain't really been talking about it. I'm just weighing things out and just see how it go. But it's a production opportunity. It's not an artist.
Yeah, no. What's that?
But I got a plug inside.
There's still big opportunities, man. Produce.
Yeah. So, you know, it's like one thing that bothered me. I had a person out here recently, right? And it's a she. She reached out for me to support, you know what I'm saying, an artist that she pushing. And me, I don't mind pushing artists, but you're not going to use me. But I don't mind supporting your artist, but you're not going to use me. My thing is, I got a whole studio at my crib. Not once have you said, hey, man, I want to book some studio time with you. I want to come through. Or, hey, I want to do a beat listening session with you. I want to check out some of your production. You call me, tell me about your producers and how you're not trying to be the you ain't seeing this local shit, this and that. You know, I get those conversations. Then I get hit asking me to go and tag your artist's name on some shit dealing with double XL source. Like, lady, do you not realize that I can bypass all that and go directly to the people that's up at your 100 source and get your artist actually really in the seat? Like, I know people. And then
that shit does go
your artist got a song that's a soundbite off a reggae artist that I know.
Oh, dang.
And it's a dope idea what the person did. It's fire. But they totally bit that artist. Somebody's going to recognize that down the line. Now, if that person, I could actually be the one that could sit down with that artist and help them fine-tune it. I'm Jamaican. I speak patois. Clearly. You know what I'm saying? I can sit down and help them like really get that shit like solid where it sound like, damn. They don't sound like the other person. You know what I'm saying? And it'll really have an impact. But now once they reached out, hey man, you know, could you help us out with this record, man? We got this idea, Nothing. You don't get that. So, you know, that's why, like, you know,
I'm definitely glad we did this because I feel like a lot of people don't know. I didn't know, so it's like, that's crazy. Like,
this person, no. We don't talk.
No,
I don't talk to them all the time. This one person I used to talk to him regular and shit about a lot of shit. And like, you know, like I told Jim, I said, when I be throwing my little darts and shit, it ain't specifically for somebody out here, but it's just specifically in general dealing with the local mindset of some local artists, period. What you don't know, like I said, I can't hold you on. But when you're given an opportunity to meet somebody that knows and they try to share that with you, and you treat them like they're nobody and shit, it's fucked up.
Yeah.
Oh, I know motherfuckers look at my page. They see celebs talking to me. They see me talking to Ali from St. Lunatics all the time. They see me, you know, talking to Luke. They see Luke come on my shit and like my shit. They see certain people that come on there and fuck with my shit. These people are people that's somebody's, that have sold records. My brother-in-law doing a group project right now. He's a multi-platform artist. You know what I'm saying? And then at the same time, like I told Kelly, like I can show my plaques. I got plaques. What can you show me as an artist out here? Oh, because you got 200 people liking your shit on Facebook. Oh, because you shot a video shooting stuff today. And I don't have a video out here like I'm floating around like that. But where's your accomplishments? You know what I'm saying? I posted my royalty check one day. I said, hey, can y'all show me one of these? Not to shit on nobody, but to show you, like, if I can do this, you can do it too.
Exactly, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like Jeezy, when Jeezy first came out, man, a lot of the shit Jeezy was rapping, it sounded braggadocious and like he was full of himself. But Jeezy was saying what he was saying. That's why he named his album Thug Motivation, because it was to motivate the street cats. Like, I'm here, but you can get here too.
Yeah.
You can do the same thing I'm doing. I'm not just shitting on you. I'm just like, this is what it, you know what I'm saying? You're able to view this shit. Let's get it. You know what I'm saying? Chill. You know what I'm saying? Jesus, you know what I'm saying? He was trying to, you know what I'm saying? And the same thing with me when it comes down to talking about this industry shit. It's the same shit. I'm just trying to let people know, like, yo, there's a right way and there's a wrong way, and a lot of y'all doing the wrong way. And if I'm lying, I'm flying, because you can't name an artist out here that's really going somewhere right now. How many albums y'all will drop before you realize that maybe I need to focus on a single, put my money instead into a video, instead into a video and trying to impress these bitches and shit. Maybe I should put my money behind the music and push. Maybe I should find somebody that know how to get my records to these DJs and slide them a little paper and shit, and then, have them kick a door in for me. I got a plug right now, like any record right now, anybody bring me a record right now, and it's a dope record. And I'm saying this for the cats out here. Anybody bring me a record right now that's a dope record. It's fully mixed, fully mastered. You got exclusive rights to the beat and shit. And it's a single that you pushing. Come to me, we talk business. I can help you get that record in the hands of any DJ that you want spending your shit. From California and beyond. Just like, I'm here in California, but I'm not focused on California. I'm focused on the world.
There's not a lot of people in Bakersfield that could do that.
I'm like, right.
For real, like, you probably, honestly, I don't know. You probably the only one, honestly. Like, damn. That's crazy, bro. That's insane.
Right now, I'm the only artist in Bakersfield right now that's ever been signed to a major. I'm the only artist in Bakersfield / producer that has actual RIAA certification for selling 500,000 units or contributing to the sales of 500,000 units or better. You know what I'm saying? I'm the only artist out here that's ever been to a BET Award or BET Hip Hop Awards or Soul Train Music Awards or VIBE Music Seminar or to a lot of these music seminars that they have. I don't hear nobody talk about shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm the only artist out here that's actually legitimately had a song that got radio rotation. KLK want to put my Magic Mike record in rotation. I just felt like I need to go back and remix that record. And I'm going to remix it and re-release it. Because I didn't like distributors I went through when I dropped that record. They was on some bullshit. So I'm
actually,
put it back out.
Funny too, like I met him one time in Big Mike. You said Big Mike. You said Big Mike?
Oh, Magic Mike?
Yeah. Oh, it's a Magic Mike. I thought he said
you said Big Mike?
I thought he said Big Mike.
Big Mike, he's a legend. Yeah, I met him early, but yeah, that's another legend. But Magic Mike, he was a DJ / producer. He put out, like for the guys they used to have, like out in California, like you ask any OG Mexican cat who DJ Magic Mike is, I guarantee he'll tell you. If he's an OG in your family and everything, I assume you're Mexican, right? Mm-hmm. If he's an OG in your family and he got a truck from back in the day, he got any picture, he had a 6'4", or any of them old school cars hooked up with speakers and shit. Oh yeah, he done played some DJ Magic Mike. Because during that era, especially from that late 80s and early 90s, Magic Mike was the shit. Everybody had a lowrider had that motherfucker, his tapes. Because he was the bass king. He had, oh my God, that dude was right at your fucking speaker. I broke my mom.
Hey, that's how you know, huh?
Yo, I pulled up, I had a Chevy Impala back home, right? And everything. I had a little tricked out, you know what I'm saying, with some feet on it and whatnot, system in it. I backed up into in front of my mom's place and shit. And was whamming. Magic Mike feel the bass and broke her windows.
Oh shit!
It shattered. I had to go buy all new jobs. That shit was crazy. So everybody had them, but it just like I tell cats, like when it really boils down to it, this is a business. You got to remember that I used to say 95% business and 5% bullshit, but nah, it's just 100% business now. And right now we at a time in hip hop.
So many competition too out there. So.
Yeah, so much. That's what I'm saying. And that's another thing I have to ask, like some of the Bakersfield artists. Like now I'm talking about Bakersfield. Who the fuck y'all competing against?
I know.
Because if you trying to compete against each other, that's stupid as fuck.
Yeah, that's true. So since you hear about all this stuff, you guys should be ready for the upcoming stuff. So before we go, do you want to mention anything that you're gonna put out pretty soon? I know you can't say too much. But I know you gotta, if you wanna shout out your actual single right now, Lit. I'll go ahead and post it on the comments below. I'll go post the link of this.
Lit is at 200K streams right now.
Yeah, 2K.
Organically. Yeah. No fugazi shit, no fake numbers. Organically on Spotify, 200K streams. I'm at 6,000 on SoundCloud and probably like 2,000 on YouTube because I ain't really do much promotion with that. But on Spotify and shit and on Tidal, that shit is smacking right now.
So please follow this man, because you said you're gonna drop a book, or you have a audio.
Yeah, I'm working on an audio book, and I got a couple things in the works. 2 projects. Trump Music 1003. And I also have a project titled Cali Floridian. And that's gonna be a pretty unique project and whatnot and everything.
So you guys stay tuned to PEEDIGREEN, because this is gonna be the last time we hear from this guy. I'm telling you that right now. There's a lot coming. I know you guys heard a lot of stories, but trust me, that's not the end of PEEDIGREEN. So I do appreciate you stopping by, man. I appreciate the stories, all that.
I appreciate this conversation.
You're good. Well, thank you guys for tuning in for this week's episode, and again, we out.
We out here.
Mr. 808.